for the All-Star. Guess what? If you're not voting Cargo, well, we should send you over to their house and do something about that, don't you think?
Yeah, you should go to his house and start signing up and making sure you vote for Cargo. Not only that, think about it this way. Since May the 23rd, Carlos Gonzalez has gone straight. 1941, Ted Williams, that's right. He's hitting .406 during that time frame. Just this homestand alone, 12 for 23 with 13 RBIs. Are you kidding me? And if you're not enjoying the numbers, just sit back and watch how he hits the baseball. The finish is unbelievable. I always think of Ken Griffey Jr. You look around the league at guys trying to hit the ball out of their ballpark, trying to look cool, style with it. Nobody does it as simple as Carlos Gonzalez. I've tried before and it looks like a total joke. So I think every time I watch Carlos Gonzalez, he gives me a smile on my face, and I'm happy to be at the ballpark.
And every time he hits a home run, it's like looking at fine art, right? You have to just stand and admire it for what it is, because Cargo's standing and admiring his own home run blast. It's been a ton of fun. Philly, we'll see you in just a second. Coming up next, we'll send it up to the booth. We'll talk about the pitching matchup today on a getaway day. It's Rubber Match Wednesday, and the Rockies, they're trying to win an interleague series. We'll be right back. Beautiful blue skies. We got the sunshine out. It was hailing last night. Of course, we were here till the wee hours of the morning, but today, a getaway day between the Rockies and the Blue Jays. No rest for the weary. We're ready to roll, and I know that's exactly what Drew, Jeff, and Spilly are doing. You guys are ready, and you're ready for the pitching matchup today, correct?
We never left. You know, some people went home, some people took a nap. We just prepared diligently in the last 11 hours for this afternoon. Jenny, you look marvelous on short sleep.
Oh, wow. That's just a suck-up statement right there. Thank you, Drew.
Absolutely. But with that, we move on, and we talk a little bit about last night. Jenny alluded to it. We've never seen weather like this. So we had a 2-hour, 41-minute rain delay, snow delay, weather delay. Then the game only went 3 hours and 51 minutes. It ended, folks, at 1:12 a.m. Talking to some people this morning, said I couldn't couldn't hang in there. 1:12 a.m. So literally, from a player's perspective, less than 12 hours later, you're playing again.
Yeah, it's the old line, sleep fast, because by the time he got home, I know for myself, I was in bed about 2:30, and that's without the adrenaline that these guys have. So a lot of them are up till 3:30, and then they got to turn around. They also have to pack because they leave after the game tonight for LA.
Does a show and go help guys sometimes?
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt show and go will help, but more importantly, when you have a game like this, it takes a good group to say, you know what, we're winning today. We showed up last night, we put in a fight, but tonight we're winning for sure.
Well, a guy who got a full night's sleep was the Rockies starter, Tyler Anderson, and through his first 3 starts, he's been outstanding. Rockies are going to see a great arm today in Aaron Sanchez.
And for Tyler Anderson, it's unfortunate because he could easily be 3-0. Instead, he's 0-1. He's just not getting much run support. Only 2 runs have been scored when Tyler Anderson has been out on the hill. But he had 8 strikeouts in his last performance, getting a lot of ground balls. And this kid shows you something when he goes out there. He has a high compete level. Looking forward to watching him get his first W today.
I'm looking forward to seeing this kid from Barstow, California, Aaron Sanchez, young 23-year-old. He is a former reliever turned starter. Ross Atkins, that's the Toronto Blue Jays GM. They said, you know what? The plan was to have this guy start and then move him back to the bullpen. Yesterday, he said, you know what? The way he's been pitching, 7-1. He's been pitching very well. They may keep him in the rotation the entire season on.
Well, if you're 7-1 with a pretty good ERA like he has, you probably are making a strong case to stay right where you are. So the Rockies and Toronto playing the rubber game at this 3-game set. Cargo has been in fuego. 4 hits, 5 ribbies last night. Rockies, Jays, come on back to Coors Field with us. It is a beautiful Wednesday afternoon as people file their way into Coors Field. You may find some people sleeping in the seats from late last night. Less than 12 hours after the Rockies and Blue Jays concluded this morning, they are back at it. Tyler Anderson is going to leap his way to the Coors Field mound in career start number 4. And as Jeff Houston was just telling you, his first 3 starts have been outstanding. He deserves at least a couple of victories, if not 3 for 3. Ezekiel Carrera once again will lead things off for Toronto. Here's the Southwest batting order for John Gibbons in his second tour of duty with the Blue Jays. Slight change from last night. Devin Travis again in the 2-hole. Josh Donaldson, he's had a big series. Edwin Encarnacion walked 3 times last night. Tulo's going to slide up to the 5 spot. Michael Saunders against the lefty will sit down. Kevin Pillar moves up. Junior Lake gets a start in right field. Josh Tolley, the former Met catcher, is behind the dish. And the aforementioned Aaron Sanchez pitching and batting 9th. And here's more on Tyler Anderson, who possesses a couple of different changeups, and they're both outstanding.
And he's not afraid to use it here at Coors Field. So this is his 3rd start at home for Tyler.
Back up the middle, and a base hit for Carrera.
Let's go back, show you the numbers for Tyler Anderson. Fastball 91 miles an hour. The opponents are only hitting 167 against that coming into the game. You mentioned the 2 different change-ups. So one will be a little bit harder, about 83. Another one maybe about 78, 79 miles an hour. They're both classified as change-ups, but he just holds them differently.
Here's Devin Travis. And Travis takes a strike on the outside corner. Travis hitting .429 his last 14 games. Jeff made mention of this a couple of days ago with Travis. He kind of was pushed off the DL a little bit prematurely and struggled initially. But he's now swinging the bat very well. He's got a compact swing. He's an athletic guy. He's a good-looking young player.
Last year, when he got the opportunity to play, he really came on the scene. And when he got hurt, Ryan Goings got the opportunity and really took off with it. And so coming off that injury for Travis this season, it was interesting based on how good Ryan Goings was doing. And for Travis, Goings ended up getting hurt, which allowed him to come back and play more again.
You just saw the move to first, which was a solid move. Keep in mind, in Anderson's last start, he had trouble with guys stealing bases off him because of that little kind of hitch in his, or pause, if you will, in his delivery out of the stretch.
And you'll see that too when guys get at second base. That allows an extra 2 or 3 strides before he delivers the baseball home. It is hard to read though, because he does have that good move to first where he'll come up, give you that hitch, but still stay within that 45-degree angle to first.
Here's the 0-2. Well, you guys both have the ability to steal bases, and we've talked about it many times. With a left-hander, once you get to second, it's easier to swipe third.
Yeah, because you're not worried about him picking over. If you're at second base, there's not a lot of spin moves that they can do. The lefty picks up his foot when you're standing on first. He can read. You can't do that when you're in second.
You know what, one of the best inside moves of a lefty that I've seen? Brian Fuentes.
Yeah.
You were smiling. You knew where I was going before I said it.
It's Tito. Well, I have a feeling today, just based off last night, getting out of the ballpark at 2 a.m., a day game, you're going to see a lot of first pitch swings. Almost like it's the last game of a spring training.
And I already like what Tyler has done here early in the game, and more about with the runner at first base is he threw over twice, then he had a real quick slide step to home. So he's varying his times, and that's harder for the base runner to try to pick up. And I know this is something that they talked about to Tyler, or with Tyler, excuse me, after his last start.
Runner going, got him picked off. The throw, gonna get him.
There you go.
Great throw by Mark Reynolds. That's an underrated play for a first baseman, Huey.
That's the University of Virginia shortstop throw from Mark Reynolds. Because when he catches this, he closes some ground. Ezekiel takes off, and then the throw on the money, easy tag for Christian Adames. But you have to create a throwing lane to second base. The tag on the Subaru Supermo, see you later.
1-3-6 on the caught stealing, and then the strikeout on the off-speed delivery. Travis is gone, and there are 2 quick outs. One thing, fellas, that we have learned quickly about Tyler Anderson, we heard about this when he was a Texas League Pitcher of the Year a couple seasons ago, that he's very bright, but not just bright, he's very studious. And so it doesn't come as a surprise that he's kind of cleaned up what was an issue for him in his last start.
Well, and that's what he's supposed to do. Any player that's constantly trying to get better is going to listen and take the advice, tips, whatever it is from your teammates, and that's what was so impressive. Chris Russin said, "Don't worry about giving soft contact." He said that was the best advice I've ever heard. It came from a teammate, and he put it into play right away.
Donaldson pops this one up down the left field line, and Barnes will get there. What a catch by Barnes. He was over in left center field. He ran a 4.5 40 to get there. Former high school football star. Well done. Good start for Tyler Anderson.
What a homestand for Brandon Barnes. Not only throwing out the knocks, but also a diving, rolling catch.
Yesterday off, but then teammate fell ill. Ryan Rayburn, he was inserted into the starting lineup, and he did a normal Charlie Blackmon day. 3 hits and 5 at bats, drove in 3. He'll be atop the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. Christian Adames has been really good in this series. Then Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez hitting .329 now, and he produced his 1,000th hit yesterday. Naturally, it was a home run. Mark Reynolds, Daniel Descalso, the red-hot Brandon Barnes, Tony Walters behind the plate, batting 8th, and then Tyler Anderson. So Aaron Sanchez ready to go. 6'4", 220-pounder. If you were a scout, you said, man, I'd like to carve the right body for a right-hander, you'd take Aaron Sanchez's frame. Long legs, he's got a quick arm. Broken bat, and it's quickly 2 strikes on Blackmon as we dissect the numbers of Aaron Sanchez.
Well, they were mentioning Aaron Sanchez as an Oral Hershiser type pitcher. You see the record, 7-1, 3.24 ERA. This guy pitches to contact. He has a good sinker, and his best secondary pitch is a curveball, which is strange. You don't typically hear about a sinker curveball type pitcher. Occasionally cut the baseball, but really that's more for show to a lefty.
Well, and for that arm angle for a sinker, it's more off to the side, so it's more conducive to a slider than it would be a curveball,
right.
And that's why you haven't seen it.
He has a high spin rate on his curveball.
Oh, yes, he does.
That thing is dastardly at times. And that's a show upstairs, typically to set up the curveball at the same plane.
Well, and they have an .081 batting average against his curveball this season with 2 strikes.
Here's the 1-2, and he went back to the fastball at 96. And Charlie with 3 more knocks last night brings a .306 average into the game. 12 home runs, 42 driven in out of that top spot. And he gets him with another fastball. So a Sanchez strikeout, his 94th in 97 2/3. It's about a strikeout per inning pitched. Defensively, Toronto has Carrera in left field today. He was in right yesterday. Junior Lake's in right. Pilar, as we talked about, real good center fielder. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Travis, and Carnacion in the infield. Josh Tolley doing the catching. 1 out. That'll bring up Adames. Christian takes a look at a fastball for a strike. Adames yesterday was 1 for 3 and a walk, scored a run.
Pretty free and easy with that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball for Sanchez, just a 23-year-old drafted out of high school the first round in 2010.
Barstow High School. 34th pick in the first round in 2010. He was an athletic All-American. One and two with 1 out. Toronto's outfield shaded toward left.
You can see too, he's not afraid to come inside. I mean, he's shown enough now to the first 2 hitters left-handed that you have to be aware of it if you're Daniel Descalso or Tony Walters looking in.
Three and 2. Today is June 29th. If you didn't look at the calendar yet, it's the final game the Rockies will play in June. Tomorrow's an off day. And the Rockies right now are 13 and 13 in June, so they have an opportunity for their first plus 500 June in some time. 2 hops at Troy Tulowitzki. Tulo throws out Adames.
Third baseman, number 28.
June swoon. Read about that. People have talked a lot about it, where the Rockies have faded the last couple of seasons, and they're hanging tough despite the first part of June. They played every single day. It was part of that 27 in a row.
If you look at those numbers too, they had the 3 straight 1-run losses in the 9th inning. You had Tyler Chatwood going on the disabled list, Cargo where his wrist almost fell off, Trevor Story and DJ getting hurt towards the end of the month. A lot of things going on, even if something as simple as a Chris Russin and a Christian Bergman, those guys have been missed for the month of June.
It's given some opportunities for Christian Adames, Daniel Descalso, Barnesy to do their thing.
And another 2-hopper to Tulo. Sanchez works a 1-2-3 first frame, matching Tyler Anderson. We'll go to the second. No score at 20th and Blake. Second, folks, you can join in on the conversation today and every day by sending us your thoughts, photos, and questions via Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag ToyotaTalk. And We have a tweet already in from our friend Dan. Beautiful day for Rockies baseball at a sun-soaked Coors Field. Credit to the grounds crew for the quick turnaround. They did an unbelievable job last night. Can't brag on them enough because they deal with more different kinds of weather issues, especially in the spring. And Mark Razum and his guys, just fantastic. Honestly, as Laz Diaz was making snowballs, you were wondering, would they be able to play the next week with the way that field looked like?
As I was walking off the field last night, Mark Razum and his crew, they decided it was 2 a.m. They were just going to leave. And a lot of times after a major league game, these guys, the grounds crew, will stay here an extra 2 hours and prep the field before they leave. Last night they left. They left at 2 a.m. They said, you know what, we'll get it in the morning.
I don't blame them. Was that 2 years ago or last year you worked on the ground?
It was last year.
Last year.
You got fired, I thought, like halfway through.
You made it the whole day, right?
Like I said, I quit. You say I got fired. Does it really matter? I lasted 1 day.
You were terminated, and it seemed to be a.
I remember you had big blisters on your hand.
Oh yeah, I did for a week.
How'd you do on the tarp? I can't remember. Did you do all right on the tarp?
I didn't have to pull the tarp.
Oh, okay. That's a good pitch.
But I was a trained professional at UC Santa Barbara. We had a tarp, and we were the grounds crew. So I had years of training.
It's part of college baseball.
And it should be.
You didn't have to pull the tarp at Santa Barbara.
Drew, have you ever heard of El Nino? For those of you that don't habla español, El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
Catcher's interference.
Catcher interference.
It's the second one we've had this year. We had one just recently with Nick Hundley. You can see the bat going off the glove on the Subaru Supermo of Tony Walters.
So that is an E2 if you scored at home. And for the second straight inning, now the leadoff man's on for Toronto. And that'll bring up Tula.
Shortstop number 2, Troy Tulowitzki.
Well, last night against Eddie Butler, he took a slider down low and he hit it well over 400 feet into the seats. A solo home run for Tulowitzki. At the time, it brought the Jays within a couple of runs. The Rockies were up 4-2 after that home run. Final score last night, 14-9. 18 hits for Toronto. Both the runs and hits a season high for the Blue Jays. Tula overall 1 for 9 in this series against his former club. He's quickly behind 0-2.
Cut fastball or the slower changeup? What do you think?
I think he's going to try to elevate fastball again. And Tulo's smart, knows that Tyler Anderson's best secondary pitch is the changeup.
See ya.
See ya. On 3 pitches, Anderson with his second strikeout, he freezes Tula.
Boy, did he ever. That was a little bit of the harder changeup.
Was that a cutter?
It might have been a cutter, yeah. I mean, with the spin on it, looked like it might have been a cutter. But that's the thing with Tyler. Sometimes even at the plate, you don't know what's coming because of the action on the ball.
Encarnacion, that was close. Kind of got his feet in cement there, Spilly. It wasn't a dive, it was a fall.
Yeah, look, he had no idea that it was coming over. He wasn't expecting, not like he was going to be running on the pitch. Watch his reaction as he turns and goes, why are you throwing at me?
Ground ball and on through, a base hit for Pilar. 2 on for Junior Lake. Defensively, Barnes already a great catch in left field. Blackman in center. He made a great catch last night. Cargo's in right. Arenado, and then up the middle, Adames, Descalso, Mark Reynolds, Tony Walters behind the plate. And it's an opportunity with a day off to get more rest for Trevor Story, more rest for DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu played an inning last night. Story played most of the ball game, and then finger flared up a little bit on that jam shot ground ball to second in his 4th at bat. Lake takes an off-speed delivery.
That's what middle infielders are supposed to do, right?
Tied at the hip.
Yeah, it's sit next to each other, talk about the game.
Junior Lake came up in the Cubs organization. Here's the 0-1. And Tony with a good block.
Lake has prodigious power. I mean, he can hit it out. Took Chris Sale deep the other day in Chicago.
I remember, I think it was Junior Lake one spring training in Scottsdale at Salt River Fields. He hit the ball to Mesa, which is really hard to do.
It's really hard to do. The freeways don't connect.
No. Bounced on the 202 and ended up on Broadway in Mesa. 1-2. On the gas, off the gas. That's Tyler Anderson.
That's pitching. That's not throwing. That's pitching. Just do that. And that's what he's shown the ability to do in his first 3 starts.
Plus, he deals with traffic well.
Well, 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position, so that's all you need to know.
1 out. There's 2 on right here.
I like that you mentioned he's pitching. He's not throwing. The very first start we saw him sitting in the camera well. He threw a first pitch fastball 84 miles an hour. Then he had somebody 0-2 93 mile an hour fastball, and we all looked at each other. We go, wow.
Yes.
A real pitcher.
Well, and we haven't really had a chance to see him much because he's been hurt so many times.
That's line to right. That's going to get a run home. Pilar will go first to third. Lake into second with a run-scoring double. Toronto breaks on top as Encarnacion scores easily.
That catcher's interference now that Encarnacion had. He comes around to score on the double by Junior Lake. 2 RBIs on the season. That was a 4-seam fastball. Hit it off the label, but pretty strong is Junior Lake. Cargo has to go over and cut it off. Strong throw into second base.
It's that fine line, Huey, with a catcher. You may be wondering at home, you know, why does he get that close? Well, catchers want to get up underneath the hitter,
right,
and especially guys who are working low in the zone, guys with sinker, guys with a changeup, to make sure that the appearance of that low pitch is a strike, and that's why it's a fine line.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the hitter who decides to swing late.
Line drive, that's going to be caught by Adames off the end of the bat. 2 outs as Toley's retired, and that'll bring up Sanchez.
Pitcher number 41.
That's a big out for the Rockies right there, especially with runners at second and third. 1 out. Toley getting a spot start with Russell Martin having a catch last night's game.
He's now 1 for 23 against lefties.
And it's been a tough draw for Josh Toley as he's trying to face, you know, easy right-handers or easier right-handers. He's picked Chris Hale. He has Tyler Anderson today.
This is going to be a tough play. Safe, and here comes somebody home, and it costs the Rockies 2 runs. Anderson is looking at the dugout saying he was out, and while he was on the ground, Junior Lake scored. Pilar obviously scored. He was at third. Sanchez got shaken up, and that's why John Gibbons and a trainer's going out. Walt's coming out. I think he's going to ask for a video review. That was a pretty good collision. 2 pitchers.
He knew this play was trouble right off the bat.
Wow. Tell you what, Anderson, oh my goodness, he took a knee right in his quad.
This will give us a better look. Foot on the bag. He's out.
He is out.
He's out.
And that's a worst case scenario for both teams to have based off the last 2 days with the bullpens the way they've been taxed. To have both starters crash into each other.
This is an enormous review. First of all, it looks like Anderson's okay. It looks like Sanchez is okay, which is amazing because that was a heck of a collision.
Big-time collision.
Sanchez is still shaking out his right arm. Standing on first base and he's shaking
this is
it out.
huge. This is a two-run review right now.
Yeah. And you saw Tyler a moment ago too, where he kind of bounced up and down trying to see if that quad would loosen up.
That was a classic Charlie horse type of collision.
Yeah, the indecision by Tyler. He wasn't able to get there, then had to reroute. Yeah, he's out. But then Sanchez comes down on his right shoulder. Ball in the glove, foot on the bag. There you go.
So the Rockies win the review. That takes 2 runs off the board. 1 in the inning for Toronto. It looks like Anderson's okay. And Sanchez apparently okay as well.
And Carlos Gonzalez will lead off for the Rockies. Had a big night last night. 4 hits, 5 RBIs, including his 1,000th hit as a Rocky. And it was a 3-run home run. Back-to-back days for Cargo and 3-run home runs. I thought it would be a nice time to take a look at how his 2010 season, 74 games in, that's how many he's played this year, compares to 2015. 2010, he won the batting title, hit .336. He's 22 points higher batting average. I'm going to call runs and ribbies equal. Few more extra base hits and homers. Better plate discipline, better on base percentage. And guys, to me, he's 30. He's not 24. And I think that might be beneficial for Cargo, just knowing his game, knowing the league, knowing the pitchers.
And the knee's healthy.
Right.
He's having a great season. And he had the slump earlier. Every player has slumps. Checks his swing there. It's 2-0. And I like that comparison, Mark, that you put together. Right now, Cargo with a .329 average. Talk about when he won the batting title at .334. He's 3rd in the National League in hitting right now. He's 2nd in slugging percentage. And Tulo was right up the middle, and he takes a base hit away.
Par for the course. Cargo took a hit away from Tulo last night in right field, and the 2 buddies squaring away against each other. Take one from me, I'll get one from you, bud.
That's what you have to do on defense.
I just think the swing, and Huey, you've pointed it out on a number of occasions, his swing is under control. I mean, he's not flying open. He's not looking like he's trying to hit the ball to Mars.
That's because his legs are healthy. They're underneath him. People think about a swing, and your swing starts from the ground up. If you don't have a good base, I don't care what your hands are doing or what your head's doing. You're not going to be a consistent hitter.
Well, and when you have a leg kick like Carlos Gonzalez, a leg kick type swing has two parts. Just like if you have a toe tap or anything, it's the load where you load up and then the swing. And we've seen times where Cargo's timing was so far off, the leg kick and the swing were all one motion.
He got to a point, especially early last year, it was obvious he was predetermining when he was going to swing.
Because he had to cheat. There's no timing, there's nothing, there's no rhythm. When he loads up and he gets a leg kick up and then there's a pause, the bat stops. And then it starts again, just like a golfer when he swings the club, he gets to the peak and then it comes back around.
3-0's in there to Mark Reynolds. Mark's hit 8 of his last 9, .314 average, and he's hit 4 home runs over his last 9 ball games. 1 for 5 yesterday. He has seen Sanchez 1 time. And Tulo has been real busy. It's going to be 4 assists in a row for Troy Tulowitzki.
It tells you what kind of movement Aaron Sanchez is getting on the baseball. Because those haven't. I mean, Cargo's maybe was hit more towards the barrel, but the other ones really haven't been squared up.
Daniel Descalso. On Monday, he had a big 2-run knock in the Rockies' 9-5 victory over Toronto. That is looped toward Tulowitzki and over his head. So the Rockies have their first base hit.
Attaboy, Daniel.
I'll bring up Brandon Barnes. Time for our Lowe's home field advantage. Picked out a trio that have given the Rockies the home field advantage the last few days. Cargo hitting .522. 3 home runs, 13 ribbies. Blackman 385, 2 and 7. And Brandon Barnes getting an opportunity with Parra down. Rayburn sick yesterday, 500 average, and he has scored 7 runs. And they're not dinks and dunks. He's been driving the ball.
He's been pulling the baseball. I've never seen Brandon Barnes pull the ball with such authority as he has in the last couple days.
He mentioned something to me around the batting cage yesterday. Is just the way he's standing taller instead of crouching over. I think that helps you be able to drive it more. You're not trying to come out of your swing if you're hunched over.
Also helps that you're not wearing batting gloves.
Oh, that's the biggest thing.
Cares about mechanics. You lose the BGs.
Then you start hitting BBs all over the place.
That's right. You should make a shirt out of that.
He's hitting .367 since his recall from Albuquerque.
I've never seen a major league hitter that hits without batting gloves that doesn't break, that isn't a good hitter. Never. Moises Alou, Mark Grace, unless you're a pitcher.
Keith Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez.
I like it too. There's something macho about it.
It looks sweet.
Now Sanchez gets the strikeout on Barnes. Second strikeout for Aaron Sanchez. Toronto has a 1-0 lead as we go to the 3rd. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2016 Toyota Tundra and your hometown Toyota stores. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Pretty day. The Rockies playing the rubber game of this 3-game set against Toronto. Rockies won Monday, fell last night 14-9 in almost 4 hours. Rockies have been good rubber games. They've been good in the daytime. Colorado 17-12 under the natural sunlight. And in the 3rd inning, it's the top of the order, represented for Toronto by Ezekiel Carrera. He swung at the first pitch of the ball game and singled up the middle. Sliders outside, 1-0. One ball, one strike. Tyler Anderson out of the University of Oregon. Their first baseball recruiting class. And that'll be caught at second base by Daniel Descalso, 1 out. Another jam shot. We saw that last inning against Tolley.
And a broken bat. That's 2 broken bats now for Tyler Anderson.
Big pitchers don't count those.
They have a running total.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pride thing.
I go to those clickers that pitchers have, pitching coaches, counting pitches.
Here's Devin Travis.
We had that in the minor leagues one year where it was the end of the month. It was a tally. Guy with the most strikeouts, the least amount of walks, getting the first out of the inning, how many bats you broke.
I think the more competition you can have, I think it makes you fine-tune your focus, at least just for that game.
Was there a stop in either one of your minor league careers that stood out for the best kangaroo court?
It'd be short season A-ball for me. Ron Gideon was the judge, and Ron had this deep Texas drawl, and he was a big human. And
still in the Rockies organization.
When he dropped the gavel on you, you would pay up within 20 seconds of that fine.
Good pitch. Strikeout of Travis. He's got him twice now. 3 strikeouts for Anderson. How about you, Huey?
Mine's in Double-A. Jacksonville with the Expos, and our judge on that team was Mike Berger, who is now the assistant GM for the Marlins. And he was, it's kind of that type of guy. I'm not taking any guff from anybody. This is what I said. Pay up and be done with it.
What was now as Josh Donaldson steps in? What was the most creative fine?
Well, first we have to establish the rules. Typically, kangaroo court is only on the field. You try to avoid off-field issues because you don't want to bring those into the clubhouse unless they are so just bad that you have to bring it up.
2-0 on Donaldson.
I think there's some of them you can't.
Yeah, we
can't repeat right now.
That would be tough for you, Billy.
For the off-field stuff?
No, I meant for the off-field stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. When you get a swing like that from a guy like that on a 2-0 pitch,
who's hitting over 400 in his last 19 ball games, just turn over that changeup on the Subaru Supermo. That's the one he really gets off to the side and just uses his last 2 fingers to throw it with.
7-game hitting streak for Donaldson. As Huey mentioned, 18 out of his last 19, 419 average. And he got him out front a little bit. Barnes hoping for a play, not going to have one. That's how strong Josh Donaldson is. He didn't barrel that. And for Donaldson, his 18th home run of the year. And it's 2-0.
I didn't think he got this at all. I thought this was going to be a fly ball to left field. It might be a deep one.
First baseman number 10.
But he catches this right off the end of the bat. And it's the first home run allowed by Tyler Anderson. I mean, it was out there. It wasn't.
That's called a fair ball back live. Encarnacion into that left field corner, and Edwin has a double.
Get Josh Donaldson to reach for the changeup. And again, we'll freeze it on contact. I guess he did get a little bit better than what I thought, because that is closer to the sweet spot. I thought it was more towards the end and the cupped end of the bat.
I've had more players, and it's happened to me, where you catch a ball not off the barrel, but you're catching the bat out in front. You're taking your full swing. That was his full swing. He got the entire velocity of his bat path. They went through the baseball, and even though it wasn't clicked, it was clicked well enough in the spot that you can launch it out.
And that's why he's an MVP candidate.
Strong dude.
Yes, he is.
So here's Tulo. 2 outs, a run in, and Encarnacion at second. Troy struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Frozen on a slider. And he hits this hard base hit. That's going to bring in a run. Now all of a sudden it's Toronto leading 3-0. Second hit of the series for Tulowitzki, and his 31st RBI.
And again, all of this is with 2 outs. You get the first 2 guys out, line drive, strikeout, and then the power of Toronto comes through. Subaru strike zone down and away from Tulo, and he drives it to right field for his 31st RBI. Last night, Toronto had 24 at-bats with runners in scoring position. The last time they had more was way back in 2009. And they came into the series 26th in the majors in runners in scoring position. But this series, 452.
Remember, the Rockies had a game against Arizona earlier in the week where they had 26 at-bats with runners in scoring position, just 4 for 26. Tulowitzki, I got a call this morning from a guy that we all know, Brian Greasy, who had a fine NFL career, quarterback here in Denver. And one of the things that Brian has poured his heart and soul in during his career, and especially now after his career, is Judy's house. Brian and his wife live here in town, their family. Judy's house takes kids in and helps mentor them who've lost a parent. And Brian lost his mom growing up, and they've done such a marvelous job. And the reason I'm bringing that up is Troy Tulowitzki. This is what people don't know about, guys. Troy gets traded last year. We all know that. But Troy had made a commitment to a number of endeavors in the community, one of which was Judy's house. It's a 5-year commitment. Well, last off season, Brian, it's not like people send a bill. Brian gets a check in the mail, a sizable check from Troy and his wife, Danny. And Brian came by today to say hello to Troy and to thank him again for, that gets through, foul ball, you know, for honoring his commitment, because it's quite frankly, it's probably not always done. A guy leaves town, he feels like, well, I'm divorced from that community. But that's something you won't read about in the paper about Troy Tulowitzki, but it gives you a little insight into what he's all about.
And that's why people that know him, that are close to him, why they speak so highly of Tulo, is because he does these things without wanting the praise of it. He's doing the good things because that's the right thing to do. He's been put in an opportunity to, with the salary that he's made, to give back, and he gives back.
All the kids that he would bring to spring training every year. And take care of them and put them up and the whole 9 yards to say, here, I want you, at least for a day or two, to forget about everything else and experience this like a kid should be able to.
Kevin Pillar, a base hit through the 5.5 hole his first time. Here's the 1-2, and that's a little comebacker. Anderson throws him out, but 2-out damage done. Home run by Donaldson, double by Encarnacion, and then the base hit by Tulowitzki. 3-0. The bottom of the third with Jeff Hewson and Ryan Spilborghs and Mark Stout. I'm Drew Goodman. Walters, the pitcher Tyler Anderson, and then Charlie Blackmon. Rockies got some catching up to do now. They're down 3-0. Walters pinch hit in yesterday's game and then played shortstop. His second stint at shortstop this year. And he takes a strike.
Doesn't look like there's any ill effects to Aaron Sanchez after that collision in the second inning.
No. And that's an easy play for Tulowitzki. 1 out, and that'll bring up Anderson. 14-9 loss by the Rockies last night snapped a 3-game winning streak. They're 3-3 on this homestand. Get back to 500 at home, 18-19. Anderson has been a pinch hitter in Major League Baseball prior to getting his first major league hit. How often does that happen?
Not often.
Especially as a pitcher.
Sanchez has yet to walk a Rockies batter today, and he's had a couple ball games this season where he's walked over 4 times. In fact, his season high was 5 and still ended up with a win. Sanchez has had some strange starts this year. He had an outing where he gave up 4 home runs and earned the win. Don't hear about that too often. Giving up 5 walks and getting a win, or giving up 4 home runs and a win. And that 4 home runs with a win is the first time ever in Toronto Blue Jays history.
You got to stay in the game that long to even have that opportunity.
Encarnacion, 2 outs.
Coors Field is available year-round for special events, and most areas of the ballpark can be reserved. Call 303 Rockies for information. doing this for you
I know,
today, Huey.
that's why I was giving you a clap off camera, so thank you.
It's like carrying your luggage. Right, I'm a rookie.
I'd like you to do that as well.
Yours too?
No, I'm perfectly capable. Thank you, though, for the offer. Blackman struck out on a fastball his first time up. Fell behind 1-2. And the curveball never showed up. 3 straight heaters, and the last one he swung through. Changeup. We haven't seen many of those. And it's in there for a strike.
Well, coming into this game, Aaron Sanchez had the second highest fastball percentage. Only Bartolo Colon threw more fastballs.
But Bartolo doesn't throw as hard anymore as
No.
this kid. This kid averages almost 95 miles an hour with his fastball.
Yeah, but the fastball percentage 73.6% of the time for Sanchez. You say, whoa, wait a second, what's the major league average? 56.1%.
Tyler Chatwood's on that list also. That's a base hit through the left side. Troy got a glove on it. So with 2 outs, the Rockies have just their second base runner. It'll allow Adames to hit here in the 3rd.
Troy's been busy with 4 ground ball outs, had a line drive that he caught. This time he attempts to dive and catch Charlie's ball. It goes off the glove on the Subaru Supermo. He's moving around well. Just watching him, that first step, going after a baseball.
He was on the disabled list a few weeks ago with the quad injury. He's going to deal with those issues, the quad and the hip area, his whole career. Despite all that he does, it'll become one of those chronic issues.
Anytime you're 6'3" and you're carrying 220 pounds, you're playing a very active position at shortstop where it's hip mobility, it's first step quickness. It's not like you're in the outfield corners where we sit and chew sunflower seeds and occasionally back up and throw at first. You're in on every single play.
You're in an athletic position, getting down, you know, in that ready position. Your muscles are always firing.
What people don't see, even on television, we roll out 18 cameras. You can't see every time there's a swing, foul ball, any kind of swing. Those guys are firing. You know what I mean? You know, as an infielder,
fast twitch muscles. You lean and you react. Even a foul ball, you'll take a half a step or a step.
then I think infield, more than any sport, you watch the infielders and constantly jumping around, trying to make sure that their legs are loose, so when they do fire, you don't pull something.
Yeah, what other sport, though, do you get to stand around for 30 seconds before you do anything, or when you hit, it could be 30 to 40 minutes before you have to run hard?
And this is top to second. And that's all for Christian Adames and the Rockies in the third. Toronto leading 3-0 at Coors Field.
Down 3-0 as we start the fourth. Tony Walters also a rookie catching him. So I was talking about the battery we have here today, and I said to Tony, why has Tyler Anderson pitched well in his first 3 starts? And he said it's because he hasn't changed anything.
You know, he just came up here, he's like, I need to do this to get outs. So he's done that. And, you know, he's very hard-nosed, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, this is my plan. All right, let's do it. I'm going to execute it with you. You better bring it, you know. And he does it every time, and he's very competitive. It gives him the edge.
I like how Tony's definitive about that. I said, all right, you got your game plan. Let's do it. Let's execute. Let's get it done. Hopefully that continues here in the game.
Mark, thank you. Right now it's 3-0 Toronto. We've got 2 with 2 outs in the third. Josh Donaldson, a solo home run, part of the equation. Junior Lake, Josh Tolley, and Aaron Sanchez. Bottom third of the order for Tyler Anderson in the fourth. Here's the 0-1 inside, 1-1.
Let's take a look inside the numbers for Tyler today. I mean, the first pitch strike is good, but what I'm seeing though is a few more fly balls and ground balls, because if you go to his first 3 games, I mean, he had 12 ground ball outs, 10 ground ball outs, 11. So I think that's where right now, at least here in the fourth inning, you'd like to see that number maybe already be up to 4 or 5. That's a pretty good ratio on the season, 4-to-1.
That's one heck of a ratio.
See ya.
Where's that? Well, it's there. Strike 3.
Right at the bottom of the Subaru strike zone, and well received by Tony. We say that quite often on that low pitch. The way he holds it, and just a slide raise up. Now, it wasn't the location that Tyler or Tony wanted, but hey, you'll take it.
Well, it means that Junior Lake was looking for something other than a fastball.
Tolley at the plate, talking to Steve Foster and Darren Holmes about Tony Walters the other day, and everybody just keeps heaping praise on him. We've talked a lot about it on the air, how he sticks low pitches, sinkers, and he works ground up with his glove. So instead of taking pitches out of the strike zone, he actually lifts them up. And one of the things that he does to train for that, which Steve Foster says I've never seen before, he uses a series of heavy balls to catch before the game to strengthen hand and wrist. And he said, Steve was saying, quite frankly, he goes, I don't even know what he's doing with some of these drills, but I'm not going to say anything because his hands are phenomenal.
Well, and this is an excellent illustration of those hands working from the ground up. It's what he was taught as an infielder. So he just is applying it to his catching skills.
1-2, and that's fouled off by Tolley, who looks very uncomfortable.
Left on left, you haven't had to start too often, and this is the draw you get. Somebody that has 5 different pitches. That's not fun.
Welcome. You want to be the backup catcher, this is what you get.
Sinker in. Good pitch. And again, subtle move. It can't be dramatic movement with the hands. It's got to be quiet, but well received by Tony Walters.
And I mean, set up in there.
The beautiful thing is, in the last couple of years with the advanced metrics, and they're starting to focus in on catchers' receiving skills. In the years past, a guy like Chris Stewart, a Francisco Cervelli, even a player like Russell Martin, their values were underappreciated because of they weren't big boppers behind the plate. They weren't guys that were going to hit 20 home runs. But what they were doing for their team, ERAs, lowering that ERA down, helping the pitchers get through. Even a guy like Buster Posey, phenomenal receiver, both sides of the ball.
2-2, and that's a base hit for Tolley. Aaron Sanchez will be coming up. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more, as they have been doing on a regular basis, make your way to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Live Mas at Taco Bell. 7 hits now for Toronto. Sanchez was not bunting there. Now he looks down at Luis Rivera, guy you played with in Montreal.
Yeah, a former shortstop. Just looking at that Subaru strike zone, he stole one there. Did Tony Walters.
Now I'm just curious, why would Sanchez not be bunting?
Doesn't
No
know
idea.
the sign. He doesn't know the sign.
Yeah, but even at that, you could yell out bunt. Everybody in the ballpark are going to know it. You still have to execute.
Well, he's not bunting here either.
Maybe they just told him to take 3 pitches. Didn't even want to worry about him after that collision at first base. Good point.
Tried to swing at the second one.
Oh yeah, but the third one, I mean, just didn't. Don't do it.
2 outs. Ezekiel Carrera will come up. Toronto's played quite a few interleague games already this year. This is their 15th. They're 18. Excuse me. They're 8-6, and the Rockies are playing their 10th. They are 5-4. Got 2 more teams in the American League East, the National League West and the American League East matching up this year. The Rockies will host Tampa, and they will go to Camden Yards and take on Jeff Houston's old club, the Baltimore Orioles, who are very good.
That's fun to watch.
It's a phenomenal move. It's a phenomenal move.
It's like the jello legs of the guy at first base. Whoa.
Ted Lilly had a great move for the Chicago Cubs and Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw has a deceptive move. It's not great, but he's so quick to the plate.
That's why nobody steals off him.
Nobody's on base to steal. How do you steal if you're not on first?
Yeah, it's tough to steal first, the old line. Yeah, you're right.
Clayton goes like 3 weeks between times he's in the stretch.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens on Friday out in LA. Clayton makes that start.
I'm guessing he's not making
Yeah, I mean,
start.
part of me would be shocked, because if you're going to fly him home, he is your franchise. You're going to fly him home early to have his back looked at. We all know about backs.
Yeah, we just lost Tyler Chatwood to a back.
Well, Steven Strasburg earlier this year had a back injury, went on the DL for 15 days.
Yeah, the All-Star game coming up. There's ways to push it.
He just got pulled again, Strasburg, after short stint. 3-0. That's in there.
The way it's set up for the Dodgers, if they were to put, let's say, Clayton Kershaw on the disabled list retroactive to a couple days ago, so they push it back, he would only lose 2 starts because of the way the All-Star game is set up, coming right up into that date.
That's a strike. The Nationals have just brought up one of the top prospects in baseball, and he threw well yesterday. Giolito. They just signed Matt Latos to a minor league deal. Remember how strong Matt Latos was for the White Sox in April?
He like 5-0 or some big number.
That just missed. And so a walk to Carrera. Now you got to deal with Devin Harris. Now he's got, Devin Travis. He's gotten Travis twice, struck him out. Some 2-out traffic again.
Tyler Anderson 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position. And Drew, you keep talking about how he's been able to pitch through traffic. Today 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
Travis, coming out of Florida State University, moved quickly through the minor leagues. He had 318 in the minor leagues. You hit 318, you're gonna get bumped from stop to stop.
Yeah, that's earning your promotion, not just graduating to the next level.
He hit 350 in the Florida State League. That's not Huey. That's not easy to do, man. That's a sweat league, right?
Sweat league. You're playing in all the major league spring training facilities. It's hot and humid down in Florida during that time. Home runs are way down. The 350 is that's telling me that this guy can rake.
Well, Anderson's ahead 0-2, needs to make one more pitch. 2 Jays on, they're up 3-0. And he walked off the mound again. He thought he had the strikeout on the cutter away. It was just outside the Subaru strike zone.
Nick Lentz, the home plate umpire, after Tyler took a step, he did motion with his right hand saying no, it was out.
Two and two. Huey, when it's not a complete confab there, I mean, they were talking to each other, so they weren't trying to keep a huge secret. They were still 20 feet away. What would that have been about? Any idea?
More about continue to pitch, is not trying to change signs or anything like that, because that would have been with the glove over the mouth and the face, and so it's top secret.
Yeah, would have been the cone of silence, like Get Smart. When Don Adams was talking to Chief, 86 was talking to Chief.
Yeah. Not sure Spilly remembers that show, but I know what you're talking about.
I saw the movie with Steve Carell.
Yeah, no, yeah. This was the original.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that one, guys.
Edward Platt, no. Barbara Feldon is 99.
But I mean, I dropped the
take the shoe off.
Yeah, I dropped the Chris Farley's sketch comedy on you. You missed that one. So we're even.
That's too young for us. 2-2 on Travis. Got it. Third time that Anderson has struck out Travis. 2 men left aboard. That's 6 strikeouts for Tyler Anderson. Rockies got to figure out Aaron Sanchez on the other end. They trail 3-0. Middle of 4 at Coors Field. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box, it's back. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. First pitch of the inning is a sinking strike to Nolan. Arenado hit a ground ball to Tulowitzki his first time up. Rockies have 2 hits in the game. And that's a strike. Descalso, a 2-out soft single to left in the second, and then a 2-out single by Blackman in the third. Sanchez has been in control, and he's been staked to a 3-0 lead. And this is punched to the right side. Travis spinning, throwing it away, and it's backed up nicely, as it should be, by the catcher Josh Thole. That'll be a base hit for Nolan.
Or just punch the ball wherever it's pitched, just to get some wood on it. And Nolan hits it in that hole between first and second. Travis ranges far to his left, but it's out of balance when he turns and spins and throws.
He did that yesterday, Huey.
Yeah, yesterday he was closer to first. This time on the Subaru Supermo, he throws wildly. But you mentioned it, Drew, that Josh Thole picked him up. That ball was going ahead for the dugout.
On those 2 throws in the last 2 days, he's come closer to hitting EY than he has his first baseman.
Yeah, they might want to work on that a little bit more.
So
I mean, that's not an easy play. When you come out of a spin, it's hard to pick up that guy, but those two were so far off the mark.
1-0 on Cargo. He hit the ball sharply his first time up the middle, but that's where Tulowitzki was stationed and is stationed. By the way, with Nolan's base hit there, he's now hitting 12 straight. Cargo took it. It's 1-1. So look at Cargo's ranks: 329, third in the league, second in slugging at 586. Yesterday, Cargo hit another 3-run home run. So his last 3 days, he's got grand slam, 3-run home, 3-run home run, 3-run home run. That's inside. Do you know that it has been a number of years since a player hit home runs on consecutive days, 3 straight days, I should say, that were all at least 3-run home runs? Something like that happens all the time.
Cargo can do that with the best of them.
That's a shot, and that's going to eat up Donaldson. It'll be a base hit, and now the Rockies have the first 2 guys on in a 3-run game in the 4th with Mark Reynolds coming up.
And we talk about the home runs for Cargo and how impressive they are, but still, yesterday got a base hit to left field, a smoke ball that way, and this one the same thing. Donaldson can only react, and he's just lucky to get enough leather on it to slow it down.
We're looking forward to watching Josh Donaldson play defense. We've heard about his offense, obviously, today with the home run already, and ends up throwing dirt after that ball got past him, just like Nolan would. That ball's a rocket.
Yeah.
Nobody's catching that baseball.
Cargo 98 hits now on the season. That's tied with Gene Segura for second most in the National League. Daniel Murphy has 101.
Billy, you played with Cargo. Huey and I have watched literally every game he's played in his Rockies career. Reynolds steps up. Have either one of you guys seen him use the ballpark from foul line to foul line better than he has this year?
Yes, the best time I ever saw him use foul pole to foul pole was 2010, the year he won the batting title. He was hitting the ball opposite field quite often.
But that's what he's doing now tells you that there could be a batting title in his immediate future.
No doubt. And
this year.
And we talk about this all the time, the different sound that comes off Cargo's bat. Well, most of the time when you hear the different sound, it's pull side. You hear pull side, wow, that ball was hit a long ways. Bam, you hear it. You don't hear it too often from guys hitting the ball opposite field where you have that different sound. And that's what makes Cargo so unique.
Sounds like an M80 going off. This is top to short. Reynolds got to get up the line, and unfortunately it turns into a 6-4-3 double play. Cargo trying to get into Travis, and now there's 2 outs, and Nolan is at third for Descalso. Well, Sanchez has been able to get ground ball double plays this year with frequency, and he just got one there.
I mean, that couldn't have been any better either. It's an easy 2-hopper to Troy. What's going on now with Jeff Nelson, the crew chief?
There might be a complaint of somebody with.
Yeah, they're talking to Dave, who's head of security.
Yeah, somebody with like a flash photography. Sometimes it's
Dave Ponarelli. Descalso base hit his first time up. That high ground ball rate that Sanchez produces bailed him out there. This is back up the middle. Descalso comes through, and the Rockies are on the board. Come on down, Nolan Arenado, and it's 3-1.
Daniel is now 11 for 21 with runners in scoring position.
wow, that's incredible.
That's why he's got 15 RBIs in not that many ball games.
Well, and we were talking about how he was rhythm and timing for him this year, making sure he got his hands loose. He's got a great load now. It's a lot quieter than we saw last year. This is coming off a hand injury in spring training, so to me that shows me he's more concerned about getting the barrel to the ball than just trying to create some bat speed.
You talked eloquently, I might add, yesterday in describing what Troy went through in the offseason. Tulowitzki changing his approach a little bit at the plate. Lift in, he got rid of the toe tap, and he bailed on it very early because he didn't have much success the first couple of days of the season. He'd worked the whole off season. Well, conversely, here's Daniel Descalso, who worked on hand movement to get more rhythm in his swing all off season, and then he gets derailed for basically 2 months with the hand injury, and it's working for him.
Well, for Tulo, it was a complete swing overhaul. Were you talking leg kick, moving your hands?
Hot shot, great
way.
Encarnacion. That took a base hit away from Brandon Barnes. The good news is the Rockies got a run. Additionally, they got some high quality swings and contact finally against Sanchez. 3-1 as we go to the fifth. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Check some news and notes. Javier Baez had a grand slam in the 15th inning to defeat the Reds. The best part of that deal was that 3 different Cub relievers alternated in left field for Joe Madden late in that game. Went 15 innings. Zach Greinke left last night's game after 2 innings. Tightness in the oblique area. Not good for Zach Greinke. And the Cleveland Indians now have won 11 in a row. That's the most consecutive victories since 1982.
And to go back to Cleveland for a moment, we never circled back to it. Last night I had Dougie look up the numbers about Cleveland and what they've done since the Cavaliers won the NBA title.
That's a great question.
So they won 3 before they won the title. So they're 8-0 since the Cavaliers brought home the NBA championship.
Pretty soon you'll see LeBron sitting in the front row at the I call it the Jake still.
Isn't that what? Oh, it's progressive. Yeah.
Progressive field. 1-1 on Donaldson. He homered his last time up. Pulls this ball foul.
I had the pleasure of signing with Cleveland Indians back in 2012, and talk about class organization. They were class. Chris Antonetti was the GM at the time. And Mark Shapiro was the president, who's now moved on to Toronto Blue Jays.
He's president there, right?
And now he's president, yeah, with the Blue Jays. But that was a great organization. Thoroughly enjoyed my time, although brief. Catch that, Huey.
Nope, not long enough arms. Outfielder's glove, maybe.
But you know, the organization, Cleveland's come a long way. Go back to when Frazier was playing there in 1984. He was there a month, and then he went to Chicago. He and Sutcliffe. I think that was the year Sutcliffe won 15-1, right?
Yeah.
And he said there was like 75,000 people at, the Mistake by the Lake opening day, and he said there were like 75 the next day. He said it's spring training because they were at High Corbett then. Their spring training locker was a nail in the wall.
That was a
changed a little bit. Wind's really picked up. We just got a report that it's now gusting up to 22 miles an hour and it's blowing out to right. Old Glory.
We saw that flags blow pretty hard last night before that torrential downpour came in. Spilly making national news with the video that he took down in the dugout.
I thought he had a nice broadcast last night, but he was more impressed with the fact that NBC, CBS, Fox, everybody, CNN, everybody's using his footage.
Everyone picked it up.
I like what he said, though. Intrepid reporter.
Yep, for Root Sports.
Root Sports, fourth outfielder who could rake.
If you wanted to give me, if you wanted to show my video, you had to say that.
That's great. That blocked out the whole video. He's put his resume on there. They said, "Who is this guy, Spickleboard?"
It was great video work.
Oh, I got to show you, by the way. I got to show you that jersey.
Oh, I put it on my Twitter.
Did I send it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this could be the first one ever. Get out of here. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Did that bounce out?
It's
over the roof.
It did go over the roof.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
That's why everybody's looking. That was over the roof.
It landed at Fado's.
Somebody was having a soup and then its ball splashed in the soup.
Hopefully it's for those who are having a cold one.
Black and tan and a baseball.
Yeah. Just trying to be nice.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, that is true.
That was awesome. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that either.
You got to have some bat speed to hit it over the roof here, don't you? Wow. 3-2 on Donaldson, leading off in the 5th, and Encarnacion's on deck, then Tulowitzki. Big boy portion of the lineup for Toronto. Ooh. That was another one that Anderson looked in, did not get the call from Nick Lentz.
Summer firework games are almost here. Presented by Lockheed Martin on July 8th and Coca-Cola King Supers on July 9th. After the Rockies Phillies games, tickets are still available. I like it when they do the Root Sports fireworks.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that, but it's awesome.
Pay a little extra. Encarnacion. Strike on Edwin. He reached on catcher's interference, thusly an error on Walters in the 2nd, and scored on a double by Junior Lake. And then he doubled and scored on a base hit by Tulowitzki 2 innings ago. 3-1 the score. Toronto in front. Top of 5 at Coors Field. Rubber game of this 3-game set. Donaldson. Guys identify late that move.
It tells you he has a good one because they're trying to read it. And by the time they realize he's coming over there, that's why you don't see the big leads. They're a step and maybe a dive going back instead of a couple.
Anderson's a big, sturdy guy, 6'4", about 225. Grew up in Vegas, still lives in Vegas. Oh, 2.
Get that changeup down. Too good of a pitch, 0-2.
Two ground ball outs in this game for Anderson. Got a bunch of strikeouts, and he almost had another one there. Foul tip off of Tony. 6 strikeouts through the first 4 innings for Anderson.
I was talking about the Cleveland Indians in that great front office that I got to meet. Looking at the former tree, the great Cleveland Indians tree that started back in 1998. Think about these names: John Hart, Dan O'Dowd, Mark Shapiro, Josh Burns, Paul DePodesta, Ben Cherington, Neil Huntington, Chris Antonetti. 8 current or former general managers, all from that group.
John's running the Braves now. Mark Shapiro, as you mentioned, is running the Toronto Blue Jays. Josh Burns, part of that multi-zillion-dollar front office for the Dodgers. Paul DePodesta's down to football. There's 1, and there's 2.
Donaldson took 3 steps and he peeled off. I was talking to Tim Leeper, who is the first base coach for Toronto, the other day. Played against him a number of years in pro ball, and I was just bragging on Nolan. I said, just wait till you watch him for 3 games. And after the first game, he comes to me and goes, wow. You know, the play he made where he just kind of caught it and then had to throw over to first, a couple skips to Mark. He said
the ball Encarnacion that came off 119 miles an hour.
Yeah, he said that to me just sealed whatever you were talking about prior to the game.
Tulo's out in front. It's 0-1. Tulowitzki, a sharp base hit to right to drive in Encarnacion in the 3rd inning. 2nd hit, 2nd RBI for Tulowitzki in the series. His 12th home run last night. Now ball up the middle, cut off by Descalso, and a perfect throw. Nicely done by Daniel Descalso. Turns into a 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Anderson. He's keeping the Rockies in it. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th, 2-run game.
3-1 Blue Jays here on a Wednesday afternoon. I want to introduce everybody to Paul and Sharon May and their daughter Patricia. I met Paul and Sharon coming out of the game on Monday. And Paul, the first thing you said to me was,
well, we get Root Sports where we are, and we enjoy it because that's our only local, well, sports channel, really. We get ESPN and those others, but the only real sports channel we get.
You're tired of the Rockies, and you live in Clayton, Idaho. Now, you told me that's population 7, but you're not part of the 7?
That's right. We're in the suburbs. The town of Clayton only has 7 actual population. Does have a mayor, a post office, and a bar. And that's all there is in Clayton, Idaho.
I wouldn't think it would have a suburb though, but you're part of the you're the suburb.
Well, we live out of town, about 2 miles out of town. We get our mail in Clayton.
And it keeps you in touch with the major leagues. You said you love watching the Rockies. You know, Drew is here, Jeff is here, Spilly, we're all here. And you guys get to watch us, as you told me, in the middle of Idaho.
Yes, and one of the reasons that we came to these games was because our daughter Patricia knew that the Blue Jays were going to come here. Tulowitzki was going to be home for the first time, and we liked Tulowitzki when he was here with the Rockies, of course, and we wanted to see that game. So that's why we came to these 3 games.
That was fun Monday night when he got a standing ovation.
Yeah, it was fun Monday night.
Sharon, I thought you said you weren't talking today. There's an out from Tony Walters. You said you wanted that on tape, right? That she wasn't going to speak?
Yeah, good for you. I appreciate that.
Well, it's great that you guys got down. I know that you don't come out of Idaho much, and these are your first major league games, Paul?
Well, to get to major league, we have to come to Denver, or we have to go to the coast to Seattle, or else clear down to LA, or the Bay Area someplace. Because, however, we do go to the Jazz games occasionally in Salt Lake.
You're the Rocky Mountain region, so why not come and see the Rockies? And you saw Troy Tulowitzki. It's great. I think he said you sort of followed the Yankees when you were a kid.
Yeah, when I was a kid, because the Yankees and the Dodgers, and those were the teams that were popular when I was growing up. Everything was on the radio, so you had to listen to it.
Dougie can confirm this for me, guys. 29 players from the state of Idaho, and the most famous, and we talked about him last night with Michael Kadire, is Harmon Killebrew.
Right, yeah, Harmon Killebrew, which, I don't know, he held quite a lot of records at one time.
He's a Hall of Fame.
Records, yes. Yeah.
Well, it was fantastic just to run into some folks from Idaho that said right away, watch you on Root Sports in Clayton, Idaho. Population 7, but we're not part of the 7. I just love that story. Here's a second out as Tulo's going to grab this. Let's go back upstairs with the guys. Paul, Patricia, Sharon, thank you. Thanks for coming to the ballpark.
You're welcome. We're glad to be here. Been a joy.
Guys?
All right, absolutely. It's great to have. I feel bad for the man or woman who ran for mayor and lost. You know, the 7 people.
Who did that?
Well, it just gets personal, doesn't it?
Yeah,
did you vote for me, Spilly?
Nope. Sorry, Jerry.
You? I lost. I can't convince one of you two. I'm done.
I'm pleading the 5th. All I know is Dougie's thinking about moving to Clayton, Idaho, because there's only 7 people there.
Listen, you know what? It's perfect for Dougie. Yes. They got a suburb and they got a bar. He could care less about the post office.
There you go.
There's a lot of woods. It's 160 miles northeast of Boise. And that's awesome. And you know what? We hear, I don't know exact stories like that, a really small town. But we hear of so many folks. It's the beautiful thing about the Rockies. It's not just Denver's team or Colorado's team. It's the region's team. And again, frequently talk to people from New Mexico, Wyoming, or obviously you're closely affiliated, Huey, and up in the Dakotas and Nebraska, western Nebraska especially. And there's so many great Rockies fans, and folks will, you know, build some summer trips around coming down and catching games at Coors Field. So it's a great story, and we're glad you watch on Root Sports. And the Jazz also. The Jazz are one of our teams on Root Sports. And I wonder who's behind the bar right now, because half the town is here at Coors Field. Killer's birthday today too. Wow. 573 home runs. Longest home run ever Old Metropolitan Stadium also. 3-2 with 2 outs. Rockies hitting in the 5th inning. Blackman's 1 for 2. Called strike 3 by Nick Lentz. And the Rockies go quietly in the 5th. We turn the page to inning number 6. Hello, Clayton, Idaho. Go to the top of the 6th inning. Still Tyler Anderson for the Rockies and Aaron Sanchez for Toronto. It's time for this week's CenturyLink High Speed Challenge. And look at our question. Which Root Sports talent stole the most bases in their major league careers? Was it Ryan Spilborghs? Was it Corey Sullivan? Was it Jeff Hewson?
I know the one that stole the most time, major league service time in the big leagues. That should be a CenturyLink question too.
You didn't just do that to him, did you?
To who? Could be to you, could be to me.
Okay, are you pointing the finger at the one person that's not in our general vicinity right now?
They can't hear what's going on. Look at, he's got his sunglasses on.
I think Corey, good for Corey.
Oh,
his first year of service time, he was hurt, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're inferring?
I might move to Idaho with those guys. They're all 7 of them.
Look at you changing the subject.
Yeah, he did. He did a reversal there.
2-0 is fouled off by Kevin Pillar. It's 2-1. So go to Root Sports _RM to cast your vote. Who stole the most bases in their big league career? Spilly, Sully, or Huey? Sounds like a hockey line.
Third line.
No, it'd be more like the 4th line.
Huey and I used to skate together on a line. It was the unproductive line.
Or the tripod line where we just lean on our hockey sticks because we couldn't skate.
Yeah.
Third line, is that an offensive line or defensive line? Does it matter? Is it?
Yeah, third line. 4th line's really just the grinder. You just muck it up and you hope they don't score when you're out there. Third is still asked to score some.
In the air, left center field. Brandon Barnes, 1 out.
Right fielder, number 48, Junior Lake.
You guys are cracking me up today. Love the stories, and especially the El Nino drop by Spilly.
El Nino.
El Nino. We write out a script for Spilly every morning, and he follows it the best he can. He's doing really well. If you show Sully right now, he's got tire marks on his face.
And on his back. I threw him under.
And then back in reverse.
I heard that beep, beep, beep as he's going back over.
Junior Lake, an RBI double. And he was caught looking. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Toronto. That's foul ball. A run, 5 hits, and an error for the Rockies. Rockies last night ended up making 4 errors.
They dropped a percentage point in their fielding from 984 to 983, and also from 8th to 9th in the National League with those 4 errors.
And that's swing and a miss, 1 and 2. What was Nick B there? Did you come up with that? I'm sorry. We're looking at pictures of Clayton, Idaho. It looks like a beautiful little town, and on the sign it says entering Clayton, population 7. And Nick B is one of our crew members. He must have gone through there then.
So whenever they have a birth, or does he? I'm assuming it has to change all the time, right? Whenever
Yeah, you go out there and just spray paint a new number.
it, or cross one
Cross
off.
one off. If something happens
6.
the other way.
They should almost just do tallies.
Yeah, the guy who lost in the mayoral race left. Adames throws out Lake. Guess it's right on the Salmon River. Mark, Dougie can get the residents of Clayton, Idaho in his minivan. See? Right? And everybody would have 2 cup holders.
Oh, that's classic, Mark. I love it. There's the minivan.
I can't wait. Dougie driving a minivan in his flip-flops, tie-dye dead shirt. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tolley with 2 outs. He had a base hit his last time up, just the 2nd hit against the Southpaw this year. Anderson's next pitch will be number 100.
I would throw Tolley a fastball again. He had trouble with the ball away from him. Just like that.
That's good.
Oh, Laz, come on.
Laz, he would have hit that out if he made contact.
At minimum, a double. Go.
That's a strike.
That's a swing. Yeah. That's a definite double if he makes contact.
Like I'll let Laz off the hook here. He was behind the plate last night forever.
872 pitches.
Yeah, he's allowed to miss 1 check swing today. Can't miss it again though.
The 2 hour and 41 minute rain delay to start, and then 3 hours and 51 minutes of baseball.
I bet his eyes are half open right now.
3 and 2. Laz hasn't broken from that position yet. Hands on the thighs.
I don't blame him.
Trying to support the back after all those
Hammer
squats last night. 3-2.
And umpires don't get to go in between half innings and sit on the bench, get water. They stand out there the whole time. 4 hour, 30-minute game last week. Those guys are out there the whole time. So our camera crew.
Hi, Crash.
Hey, Crash.
And that's fouled off. There's Bo in his familiar spot, the camera well on the first base line. BP. Told you, he takes his camera, tucks it under one arm, takes the tripod under his other arm, marches to the next assignment. That's a base hit. I'll tell you one guy that does sit in between innings, and if there's any sort of rain delay, he comes in and hangs with us. Sometimes we have to throw him out. That's Donnie Mills.
Donnie. Always up here.
Yeah. So he's got snacks.
That's fine. If you come bearing gifts, you're always welcome in the booth.
Oh, Donnie, he's just waiting for hunting season again to come around.
Donnie's never met a camera that he didn't want to get in front of either. See? Usually they're like Sam and they hide behind the camera. See, we got you, Sam. So he's going to try to hide. He's getting less shy in his old age. But Donnie likes to be out front.
Yeah, he does.
When I was doing the Nuggets, he was in more pre-games, post-games, and opens than anybody else.
Oh,
nice pickup by Descalso. He's played a good game defensively.
Sam's like a snow leopard. It's good luck if you see him.
Yeah, true. Tyler Anderson has done a nice job. Middle of 6, 3-1 Toronto. Get the offense going. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. 3-1 Toronto. You know what this is? This is the East Lake Nature Preserve up in Thornton. Pretty pictures shot by our Charlie Felix. Rockies will have 2, 3, and 4 in the 6th inning. Christian Adames, Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez. I believe you've heard of all of them. Adames, 2 groundouts in the game. Aaron Sanchez still out there for Toronto. Rockies got their run in the 4th. 2-out single by Descalso scoring Arenado, who had singled. Rockies with 5 hits, all singles. This game standing at least so far in contrast to what we've witnessed the first 2 days.
More like arena baseball the first 2 days, and now this is just some good pitching performance by both guys.
Yesterday, 23 combined runs, 32 combined hits. Sanchez with the long strides, athletic guy, gets to the bag in front of Adames easily. 1 out, that'll bring up Nolan.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game in true HD on over 400 devices. I like watching highlights on MLB.TV Premium.
The recap of the game.
Yeah, those are great.
You know what I like watching? I love watching Baseball Central, MLB Network. D-Row, Mark DeRosa.
It's great.
It's great.
Michael Morris on this morning.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
This is in the air down the right field line and out of play. So
Notice the last 2 games for Nolan, we've seen more balls hit opposite field than we have in some time. He drove a pitch to right center a couple days ago for a double. The deep fly out yesterday, had a double down the right field line, right past Encarnacion. Base hit today through the 4-hole.
a reminder, tomorrow the final day for All-Star voting. Got a bunch of votes in yesterday. You guys vote up to 35 times, and there are 5 guys. And it's a shame Chatwood went on the save list because Tyler was having an all-star caliber first half as well. But there are 5 guys that have legitimate arguments to be in San Diego. Third baseman, the shortstop, the second baseman, the center fielder, and the right fielder.
If you're looking at it because of the importance of the game now, why wouldn't you want to have some of those guys on there?
That's a great point. Outside 1 and 2.
And that's what makes no sense to me. If the game counts, if we're talking home field advantage for the World Series, and it comes down to, and believe me, I want the fans to have the vote, but not when it's this important. Not if you're going to have an entire starting 9 of players that probably shouldn't be starting.
Nolan works underneath this. Pilar in center field. A lot of wind up there. 2 outs. Well, we talked to Walt yesterday about his all-star candidates. Here's what he said.
You know, our guys always get penalized offensively for their numbers for playing here. Well, let's give the pitchers the benefit of the doubt then. You know, it's got to work both ways. And Chatty's had an outstanding first half here. Unfortunately, you know, they get going on DL, you know, hurts him a little bit. But you look at the numbers, you can make a case for him too. But I agree. I think our 3 infielders, you talk about Charlie Blackmon and Cargo, all legitimately could be in that game.
And here's Cargo at the plate with 1 strike. Sharp single left in the 4th inning off the glove of Donaldson. It's 0-2. Cargo's a candidate. We have a nice catch up there?
Just a catch by a fan leaning over the railing. Sorry to interrupt you about Cargo, but I was just impressed with that catch.
Yeah. Fans make plays too. Cargo's not only a candidate for the All-Star team, but he's a candidate to be the player of the month in the National League in June. 365 average, 8 home runs, 29 ribbies. That'll make you a strong candidate.
Well, it goes back to just May, at the end of May, from May 26th till now, he was hitting, I said it's 1941 Ted Williams, 406 during that time frame. It's pretty good.
Ted Williams reference.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Troy, longtime teammate of Cargo, came in and said something to Sanchez.
That was about pitch location and what you're going to throw, because they had the double secret probation glove over the mouth.
Yeah, he said throw the, and it's no secret, just elevate your fastball a couple times. Madison Bumgarner is notorious for throwing nothing but high fastballs to Cargo.
And this is popped up. Easy play for Tulo. And it's a 1-2-3 6th inning for Aaron Sanchez. It remains 3-1 Toronto as we move to the 7th. Time now for the Kubota pitching performance. Tyler Anderson goes 6 innings, allows 3 runs, a couple of walks, 6 strikeouts. Just 2 of the runs were earned, 8 hits. It's another very solid performance for Anderson in his 4th big league start. Unfortunately, the Rockies are down 3-1.
New pitcher for the Rockies, Jordan Lyles. This will be his 4th relief appearance this year. 4 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs. That's a 3.86 ERA. So that's helping try to bring that 7.66 ERA that he's sporting down. And a lot of that was done when he was in the bullpen earlier this year.
Here's Carrera, and he bunts a fly ball to first, and he's out.
Good description. I like that.
I mean, it wasn't quite like the one we saw last night from Johan Flande that was actually over the first baseman's head, but before the bag.
He almost bunted a bomb. It's hard to do.
Hard to do.
Devin Travis is just happy he's not facing Tyler Anderson. Anderson had 6 strikeouts. 3 of them were Travis. And Lyles pours the fastball over. I'm intrigued by, and I know Jordan Lyles looks at himself as a starting pitcher, but I'm intrigued with seeing Lyles as a 1-inning guy, maybe a 5-out guy, that sort of thing, because there's a lot of arm talent that can't be taught.
There really is, and he has such great movement with the fastball, hard sinker. He's added the cutter, had the changeup. He started learning. Whenever you're a relief pitcher with multiple pitches coming out of the bullpen, it benefits you, especially if the hitters are only going to see you once. I think Joe Blanton was able to reinvent himself this year, last 2 years, and become a very good bullpen guy.
Two and two.
Well, and then the benefit that Jordan has, unlike a reliever coming out that has 2 pitches, if he has the 4, maybe one's not working that day, so he can go to something else to go along with his fastball.
And that pitch got too much in the middle of the plate. Base hit. 1 out, Travis at first. That'll bring up Josh Donaldson. Donaldson today in a high pop down the left field line that Brandon Barnes made a fabulous running catch on and tumbled into foul territory, and then hit a home run in the 3rd, walked in the 5th on a 3-2 pitch. A ball. Here's the home run he hit.
And catches it out front. 82-mile-an-hour changeup from Tyler. And then it kind of gave it the old Fred McGriff, where he does the helicopter over his head with one arm. Fred, a long-time Toronto Blue Jay, hit a lot of home runs up north.
Donaldson has hit 2 home runs today at Coors Field. 1 fair territory out to left field, and 1 in foul territory. It's crazy, over the roof.
One ball, 2 strikes. Thirty-year-old Josh Donaldson against Jordan Lyles. And that's a base hit to right. Travis will go first to third. 9 hits for the Jays. That'll bring up Encarnacion.
Just think about this lineup too, how scary it is. And they don't even have Joey Bats in there.
It's a quick strike lineup. You saw it in the 3rd inning where Tyler Anderson was able to get 2 quick outs. You had the Josh Donaldson home run, then you have a double and a single, and just like that, they score runs on you.
They have to be able to do that in the division that they're playing in with Baltimore, Boston, Toronto. And that's a meat grinder.
Every time I see Toronto, especially when Joey Bats is in there, I think of like that Wednesday night slow pitch softball team.
Yeah.
Right?
The Bashers.
Yeah.
That's when they need to play in that league that once you hit 3 home runs that you can't hit anymore, it's an out.
When they do, it's just for fun. Like,
so I'll take the out. I still wouldn't hit it over the fence.
Donaldson, 41 home runs last year. Encarnacion's got 21 right now. Donaldson 18 after his home run earlier in the ball game. 3-1. Lyles trying to keep it that way, and won't happen. 4-1. Encarnacion with his 70th RBI. That leads Major League Baseball. He just sits on that sturdy backside of his, doesn't he?
And you think it's just going to be power from Encarnacion. His last 17 games hit 344. Flat slider doesn't do anything on the Subaru Super Mode, just comes up there spinning. And Encarnacion says thanks. Those are the easier ones to hit.
That's the same pitch that Travis was able to get for a base hit. That's the problem sometimes when you are a former starter coming out as a reliever, trying to figure out if when you have that many pitches, because the mistakes come out quickly.
Well, that's where if you are converted to that role, you have to go back and look at your numbers. What's my batting average against with my slider, my curveball, my changeup, and then maybe knock one of those away, the lowest one on that pole.
It also shows you need to trust the fastball, because the fastball is playing. I've seen a lot of guys jumping out of the way, not quality swings. It's the 91-mile-an-hour. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Right.
The cement mixer.
Tulowitzki with a 1-0 count. One and one. Tyler Anderson again, 6 innings, 3 runs, 2 earned, 8 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Gave up the runs early. He dealt with traffic again, but he's shown an ability to get big outs. Unfazed by pitching out of the stretch.
And he'll show you tonight he threw 106 pitches, or today he did. That's not an issue. At the end, he got 6 ground ball outs, probably a little bit lower than what we're used to seeing from Tyler.
So today, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. His last start, 5 2/3, 2 earned. Start before that, 5 2/3, 2 earned on 4 hits. His first start, 6 1/3, 1 run, 6 hits. So 4 starts, he's never given up more than 2 earned runs.
And this is a different lineup. When we look at, yeah, he didn't have a lot of ground ball outs today, but the personnel on this Toronto Blue Jays team, completely different than somebody that Tyler Anderson's ever faced.
And to your observation, first game against San Diego. San Diego's not a great offensive team as long as you know, look out for Will Myers and Matt Kemp. But Miami on the road, Miami really was swinging the bat well. And then Arizona, we know they could swing it. And now this Toronto team. So it's not like he's got the little sisters of the poor, if you will. And a bunch of teams that really don't swing it well.
And you look at those teams, those 3 teams specifically, the Padres having to play at Petco Park, they're line drive, ground ball type hitters. Miami Marlins, very similar, line drive, ground ball hitters. Arizona Diamondbacks was leading baseball in ground ball percentage. You look at those numbers, it matched up well for Tyler Anderson. This team in front of us, the Blue Jays, they're not. Those are the Bashers.
1-2 on Tulowitzki. 2-2.
And with all those numbers, all the low numbers that you threw out for Tyler, the other low number is the amount of runs he's been given when he's pitched. Now in his 4 starts, they've only scored 3 runs while he's been out on the hill. 3 runs total.
Two and 2 on Tulowitzki. Run already in the inning, and after a strong May, the bullpen has really struggled in June. In May, it was one of the better bullpens in Major League Baseball, 13th. In June, it's dead last with a 6.02 ERA. And
home runs are up too.
Home runs are up. Homestand, they have an ERA above 9. Hard on the ground to third. Nolan drops it. He's going to get an out. Oh, they call him safe. Well, that may be your first error of the year. How was he safe? Did he drop the ball again or miss the tag?
I think he's saying he missed the tag. I think he got him. I just think where Laz Diaz was looking, couldn't quite see. We'll get a better look on the Subaru Supermo. Yeah, he's got him both on the shoulder and the hip.
Yeah, that won't take very long.
No.
This break in the action is brought to you by Brakes Plus. Stop into your local Brakes Plus for all
there and right there, and you're out.
Yeah. And Nolan's upset because it would have been a 5-4-3. It's hard to be perfect, though you're close. You know, even in a glove that's broken in, as his glove, there's always an eject button. There's always that one spot.
Sometimes all it takes is maybe a little extra spin on the baseball as it's going into that location, and you can't quite close it enough with your fingers.
Well, that's a treat this weekend to be able to watch these 2 guys play and see it. Josh Donaldson.
Nolan gave him a little pat on the backside. Go ahead.
Go back to the dugout. You get to watch those 2. It's baseball's best. No question. 2 best third basemen in the game right now competing against each other.
And that's part of the joy for me of interleague play. To see these guys that you only really see on highlights, and you don't have the opportunity to watch them.
You got to include Machado, obviously.
Yeah,
sure. But Machado played a couple times at shortstop, so
that's when J.J. Hardy was out.
That's an impressive feat for your third baseman to move over, and now he's your everyday shortstop.
Kevin Pillar pulls that foul.
Machado's no slouch with the bat either. .330 batting average with 18 home runs and 46 RBIs.
Another good block by Tony Walters.
Except Machado has 6 errors already, third base. It's like 2 years for Nolan, right?
Well,
I mean, kind to him. maybe longer than that.
Josh Donaldson only has 5.
Seventh inning, Lyles is allowed to run on 3 hits, trying to get Pilar. He's ahead 1-2. And he did. Pulled the string on him, gets a strikeout on Pilar. Travis comes around to score on the Encarnacion base hit. It's 4-1 Toronto, middle of 7. Blue Jays leading 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Rockies have been more or less handcuffed by Aaron Sanchez, the 23-year-old right-hander out of Barstow, California. He's celebrating a birthday in a couple of days. On the 1st of July, Rockies want to celebrate a little rally. Mark Reynolds takes strike 1, leading off here in the 7th. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Jeff Hewson, Mark Stout, Reynolds, Descalso, Barnes. Rockies trying to complete this homestand at 4-3 before a day off in LA tomorrow, and then get ready for the Dodgers. Maybe Clayton Kershaw on Friday. He is scheduled to go, but he did fly home early yesterday to have his back examined.
Well, the list that comes to us and tells us the pitching matchups all 3 days in LA are TBA. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen.
Rockies definitely, I should say definitely, you never know, but they're supposed to see another left-hander, Scott Kazmir, in that series. I think they're going to miss the 19-year-old this time.
Yeah, remember we were talking about Matt Latos earlier and the start he got off to. He was 4-0 with the 1.84 ERA. And then after that, it was 2-2 with the 7.26.
Good start to the inning. Mark Reynolds hits a flare to right.
Well, when I saw Aaron Sanchez was starting today, one of the things that was interesting is that when he first came to the major leagues, he was a solid relief pitcher. Part of the core last year that helped the Toronto Blue Jays make it to the playoffs. Now look at this list of guys. Adam Wainwright got the save in the World Series when he first came up with the St. Louis Cardinals. Chris Sale was a future closer. C.J. Wilson closed games. Jorge De La Rosa began his career as a reliever, and then they transformed themselves into unbelievable starting pitching. And it always brings up the question, is it worth it when you have a phenomenal back end of the bullpen type arm and try to make him into a start?
You look at that too. It's interesting because even New York They thought about doing, or the Reds thought about doing it with Chapman, Aroldis Chapman. You know, they had that question as he closed for him, but then he tried that spring training to start, and then they moved him back to a closer.
I think some guys, and certainly you guys would know better than anybody having played at this level, some guys are sprinters and some guys are built, you know, to think their way through, you know, a lineup 3 times or more. And some guys' personality is, let me just let it eat for hopefully 3 hitters.
Well, and that's why Sanchez this offseason went to Duke University and worked out there with Stroman.
Yeah, best friends.
For a couple months, added 25 pounds because he wanted to become a starter. He wanted to be that horse that went out there and pitched deep into a game. So he kind of put it upon himself to put himself in that position.
And a walk to Descalso. So Sanchez may be getting fatigued. And running to the mound is Pete Walker, the pitching coach. 2 on in a 3-run game, nobody out, with Barnes coming up.
One more thing to consider whenever you're looking at relief pitchers, and of course we talk about WAR and the WAR values that players get. Last year in 92 1/3 inning, as good as Sanchez was coming out of the bullpen, only a .7 WAR. Just slightly above. Typically it hurts relief pitchers. This year, 97 1/3 innings as a starting pitcher, 7-1 record, already a 2+ WAR. So we understand starting pitchers affect the games as much as anybody.
Well, and they also get paid better than a guy that's pitching in the 7th or 8th inning.
Yeah, but that's starting to change. We're starting to see some of the setup guys like an Andrew Miller start to make a lot more money. Dylan Betances is going to get paid handsomely in a couple years. But not like a starter.
No. Not for the length of a starter's contract.
No.
Barnes swings and misses.
We were talking earlier about batting gloves and not wearing them, and Brandon Barnes is not wearing batting gloves. Well, the first one to invent batting gloves, Chicago White Sox broadcaster Hawk Harrelson, 1967, was golfing, had blisters, and wore golfing gloves in a baseball game.
You would have thought it would be around prior to that.
Nope. He's with the Kansas City A's.
I remember some guys used to come to the park a long time ago with like work gloves. Use those to hit in. Maybe just during batting practice. He never did it in the game.
Barnes hits it in the air, shallow center. And Pilar gets there. I think that's impressive to show up in work gloves.
Well, just batting practice.
I don't need these fancy, colorful things. Just give me some work gloves. Let's go.
Big old
let's
orange
go.
ones. I like Hawk Harrelson. That's hilarious. Coming off the golf course, had blisters.
I'm just going to use these gloves, thank you.
I wonder how long it took for the rest of baseball to finally go, you know
Catch
what?
on.
Yeah, I don't care if you think I'm not, you know, tough anymore. My hands feel better.
Doesn't hurt as much.
Ryan Rayburn's come out on deck. The hit for Lyles. Tony Walters takes up high.
Rayburn part of that MASH squad yesterday, and his was the stomach flu that he had. DJ and Trevor with their injuries, but Ryan was not feeling well. With Ryan on deck, Gonzalez Germain warming up in the Rockies bullpen.
Ryan Tepera, who pitched in Friday's game, 1 inning and a third, is throwing down the Jays pen. And ball 4. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out, and Ryan Rayburn coming up. What will John Gibbons do?
They're going to let him stay out there, and as good as Aaron Sanchez has been today, his ability to induce a ground ball still puts him in a spot where one pitch gets you out of this inning. It's 9 ground ball outs today.
It's also, would you guys concur, a little bit more of an American League managerial move? They're a little less quick. or a little less quick to go to the bullpen. That's fouled off.
Gibbons will have an actual National League type of managerial decision to make. Aaron Sanchez is going to hit 3rd next inning, meaning the pitcher spot is up, so you're going to have to use a pinch hitter. You're not sure how much length you want to be able to get out of your bullpen. We'd like to see a couple more outs out of him if he comes out to finish this inning and try to start off the next one.
And this is going to be a double play, and that ends the inning and ends the threat. So Rayburn bounces into a 4-6-3. John Gibbons left Sanchez in there, who gets a lot of ground balls, and he got a huge one there.
Aggravated right middle finger, not in today's game. The guys are talking about how with interleague play, you get to see people like Josh Donaldson play his game. And for somebody like me, I wanted to see Kevin Pillar. Yeah, I see him on quick pitch, but I want to see him play the game. And Tulo said as much about Trevor Story when he came here on Monday.
Trevor's really took his opportunity and ran with it, and that's what you got to do in this game. I'm happy for him, and you know, I'm happy to actually get to see him play. I see some highlights, I see some home runs, but I want to see him play and see him grow throughout the years too, because he's going to get better.
Guys can explain that better. It's just it's something different about being at the ballpark, seeing a player take BP, go through his routine, and pitch by pitch just watch them. And you know, TV's kind of taken a little bit of that mystery out of the game from the past, where I had to go see Nolan Ryan pitch no matter what when I knew he was going to pitch in Philadelphia, or when Dwight Gooden was coming up. Drew, you knew that too. I had to be at the park to see these guys play.
Yeah, they're special talent that you want to see up close and personal. And you know, Troy Tulowitzki, and I know he was criticized years ago when he went and saw Jeter when he was going back east to see I believe a hand specialist, maybe a hip specialist or a hand specialist, can't remember, and he had a day and he went to Yankee Stadium. He took a lot of heat because he was very visible for the cameras, but he wanted to watch Jeter up close, his hero, and a guy that, you know, he'd never or rarely gotten to see play in person.
And that's always key because you want to be able to go out there. You want to compete against the guys. And I think for Trevor, you want to compete against Troy. But I'm going to show you, this is the finger right here. And so for a baseball, that's the last release point. So when that's hurting, you have trouble guiding the ball like you want to throw it. And I think that's what Trevor was concerned about the other day.
And on the hitting side, when you look at this, there's so many fingers that you have to be considering when you're hitting. Probably your index finger is probably the most important because it anchors, especially on the top hand. But when you lose this middle finger, it's still part of your grip. It's still an important part of being able to control that barrel through the zone. Anytime this thing hurts between your thumbs and these fingers, it is impossible to swing a baseball bat.
Especially if you get jammed or hit it off the end, that vibration on the bat to your finger just never ends.
And there's times where you take the batting glove off and you look at your fingers and they are so swollen that it's almost, you have to go for another batting size.
Well, and you can't really tape them together like you could because it goes back to being able to throw. And it doesn't feel comfortable on the bat.
No, it doesn't.
Did you guys ever use the shock absorber, or now guys are using a wrap?
Like the thumb guard that goes over?
The thumb guard, and also guys now have a wrap on the bat.
I mean, for me, the thumb guard was great, but it took a while to feel comfortable with it. Same with any sort of wrap. There was a Doogie, because I would always get my hands blown up, get jammed so often that he would have to make specific things for me so I'd be able to put it. So this is a thumb guard typical for most guys, and the reason why this would go on your top hand, and it just creates a little buffer, puts the bat more in your fingers again. So that's where you want it to be. You don't want to be gripping it where it's in your palms.
I've seen some guys too turn it over this way, so you just have a little bit of a buffer instead of that big fat part of it here. But it is hard to get used to because it just doesn't feel natural sometimes in your hand.
Not at all.
But you will use it if you get that thumb just
blown up.
It's killing you. I need one.
Junior Lake walked against Gonzalez Germain, and now a strike to Tolley. Tolley's thrown out 2 hits and 3 at bats. Rockies have been out hit 11-6. That pitch is outside. Numbers on Gonzalez Germain.
Well, pretty soon you're going to start calling him an everyday Eddie, like Guardado, who used to pitch for the Twins, because Gonzalez is either up in the bullpen or he's in the ball game in many different roles.
Three and one. And now back-to-back walks.
I don't think there's any question that Sanchez was going to stay in the game. It was answered with that ground ball double play, and now also coming up here to hit.
Well, even if he's not there to really hit and go back out, you can still use him as a bunter. I'm curious if Sanchez is a decent bunter or not. You don't have to burn one of your pinch hitters for a bunting situation.
The Jays, for an American League team, they keep 5 guys on their bench.
Kind of surprising, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Gibbons might just be avoiding the pinch hitters because they only have 6 pinch hits all season long. So also probably not a lot of opportunities for American League pinch hitting.
1-1.
And he's not bunny.
No, he didn't square around the first time either. First at bat, he swung the bat. Second time, he just swung at the second pitch and then took the last one for a called strike.
1-2. Perplexed.
Well, but sometimes, you know, the American League teams, before they go play an interleague series, you'll have their pitchers come out and they'll bunt a couple times. Maybe he just wasn't that good, or they just didn't feel comfortable. They were afraid he was going to get hurt, so just said, just take some pitches. I'd rather have you be healthy in the out rather than be compromised.
What happens, fellas, between the guy in high school who had really good, again, it's high school, I get it, but now he steps in the bucket, he's afraid to swing the bat, and it's a completely different animal.
Velocity.
I mean, everything is different, but I mean, these are non-competitive at bats. And you see the other guys get up there, you know, Tyler Chatwood, and they let it fly.
Maybe he didn't hit much in high school either. There's some guys that don't, but other guys do. It's hard because down in the minor leagues, up until Double-A, you don't start hitting again.
There is a level of fear, and you know what? The difference there is a huge degree of difference when you see so much more deception in how pitchers throw, more arms and legs, higher velocity.
Boone Logan when we come back. 4-1 Toronto.
First and second, one out. Star Wars night is Saturday, July 23rd with a pregame parade for fans in costume. Purchase the Star Wars ticket package to receive the 2016 Star Wars night t-shirt. I want that Charlie Blackmon bobblehead. Excellent time. Heads up.
Oh, that happened fast.
Ezekiel Carrera with 2 on and 1 out. 1 for 3 and a walk.
3 days since Boone Logan's been out on the hill.
Struck outside in his last outing.
Gave up the hit, and then it said, okay, enough of that. 1 inning of relief.
That's what he's had just about every outing this year, that good slider.
You have to wear the badge of honor of being a relief pitcher at Coors Field. You're going to have outings where you come out, you have good stuff, but they just find a way to put the ball in play and it falls over guys.
Line drive toward Cargo, and he'll gather it in. Two outs, and that'll bring up Devin Travis.
And you and I always look at, Drew, we talk when you talk about relief pitchers, inherited runners. And for Boone, just 4 of the 24 guys have scored, 17%.
Well, as a team, Houston leads Major League Baseball. Only 15% of their inherited runners for their bullpen have scored. The Rockies, 39.5% have scored. That's 28th in baseball. The wild thing is the team that's last in baseball is not the team you would think. It's the Yankees, 45% of their inherited runners are scored. That's probably everybody else in their bullpen not named Betances, Miller, or Chapman. They're not getting inherited runners because they're getting a clean slate, and it's on the plus side. The rest of the bullpen has not been good. Pop fly, left center field. Charlie Blackmon will glide over, and Boone Logan does his job. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies down by 3. Blue Jays leading as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Rubber game at this 3-game set at Coors Field. Getaway day for the Rockies. They'll head to Los Angeles after the game. Toronto's home to take on the Indians tomorrow. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Utilize the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. So it'll be the top of the order in the 8th inning. It remains Aaron Sanchez, who got some hot water in the 7th, but John Gibbons stayed with him. Bases loaded, one man out. The pinch hitter Ryan Rayburn bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. Second time in the game, Sanchez, facing traffic, was able to get a double play ball.
Sanchez is 4th in the American League in win percentage. You know, he's just 7-1, but an .875 win percentage, just ahead of Chris Sale. Now Chris Sale has a lot more wins. He's 13-2. Leader on that list is Chris Tillman, who's 10-1, a .909 win percentage.
This ball is hammered, but it is foul. Boy, that was
loud.
That was loud. Charlie bidding for his 13th home run. Oh, it's your old buddy, Addy. Do you use the thumb guard when you?
Come on, man. They get jammed by golf balls.
That's cold.
I'll wear one tomorrow. I'll wear one tomorrow when I golf with him. Going up to the mountains to do some golfing up in Cordillera.
You better bring a lot of golf balls.
A lot of golf balls and a couple extra thumb guards.
And a thumb guard, yep.
Why don't you just play Addy's drive?
Like a scramble. Like a scramble.
No, just drop where he hits from.
That wouldn't be fair. Everything's 50 yards in after that.
How many strokes has he given you?
Every single one I asked for.
2 and 2.
Doesn't help because I get the shakes when I putt.
Golf can get the best of people, right? Even former professional athletes.
Well, I'm glad he's watching the game.
1 out. That'll bring up Adames. The other double play turn in the 4th inning, the Rockies had leadoff singles from Arenado and Cargo. And he got Mark Reynolds to bounce into a 6-4-3 to end that threat, basically. Descalso did have a base hit after the double play to drive in the Rockies' only run.
And now for Sanchez, in his 16 starts, 8 times he has gone at least 7 innings. Think about that.
On one hop, Adames thrown out by Tulowitzki.
Now he's at 103 pitches. His season high is 106 pitches. He's done that twice. So had 2 other starts where he threw 105 pitches. Like I told you guys before, Ross Atkins, his plan with Aaron Sanchez this year to limit those innings, this would be the biggest load of innings that he's ever had on him, was to move him at some point back to the bullpen. But the way he's pitching, there's no reason. No. If anything, you can skip him for a start.
Push him back after the All-Star break.
You be creative.
Opposition hitting in the low 240s against him last year. Opponents hit just 224 against Sanchez, so you know he's got good stuff.
Well, and left-handers hitting lower than right-handers against him. Not by much, but lefties 237, right-handers 246.
And there's been no secret what he's going to do with you. It's been all fastball today. The occasional curveball, he'll steal it for a strike in between in hitters' counts. Other than that, here's the fastball. It's moving straight down. Hit it.
Toley's got to play. And the Rockies go in order in the 8th inning. 4-1 as we go to the 9th. Toronto in front.
The Rockies trailing Toronto 4-1, and hopefully a little rally time coming up. Jenny Kavnar with Corey Sullivan. We're getting ready for the Toyota post-game show. Corey, the Rockies are 500 in June. They have not had a winning month this year. They could have a winning month today with a win.
Right, and they haven't had a winning June since 2011, but Aaron Sanchez has been really, really good on the mound. Rockies have been able to scrounge up 6 singles. This is about what I figured, though, after last night's marathon performance.
Yes, absolutely. Well, guys, we've seen it before, some late inning performances. Perhaps there's one in store on a Getaway Wednesday. We'll send it back to you to finish baseball, and we'll see you right after the game.
All right, Jenny and Corey, that's what you have to hope is the case. First things first, the Rockies trying to keep it a 4-1 game, and he's been down a couple of days. There's an off day tomorrow, so the Rockies will send out their closer, Carlos Estevez.
3 days ago was the last time he was out on the hill against Arizona. 1 inning, 2 strikeouts for Carlos.
Josh Donaldson, Encarnacion, Tulowitzki. Slider, strike 1. We see him do that more and more. That first pitch slider.
He did it against Arizona. And all 3 batters that he faced started him off with sliders.
went back to it.
Where's
and
that?
That looked like a strike as well.
Yeah, it was in the Subaru strike zone. And so instead of being 0-2, you're now 2-1. Before that last pitch. Makes a big difference.
Huge difference. 2-2. 3 out of 4 have been sliders.
Well, we always talk about how big of a difference it makes when you get 1-1 pitch and it gets called a strike or called a ball. Look at the numbers. After 1-2, if you get that pitch called a strike, 176 batting average, 2-1 pitch, 245. Think about that. The incredible jump that just one pitch matters in an at-bat. Base percentage, 380 batter when you get to 2-1, 407 slugging. That's why that pitch is so important. 1-1, throwing a strike.
2-2 in the air to Carr going right.
Fans, the first 10,000 through the gates on Thursday, July 7th, will receive a pop socket, courtesy of Brakes Plus. What was a pop socket, Huey?
Oh, it connects to the back of your phone. You can use it. You can prop it up to watch videos. You can hold it while you're sending text messages. I mean, there's
a million different uses.
Exactly.
Or at least 2.
Or 2 or 3.
Who's now
It's
the
like
pop socket expert.
It's like WD-40. You can use it for a million things.
Brush your teeth?
Well, maybe not that.
It's like Mel Brooks. Remember 2,000-year-old man? What's the greatest invention, Mr. 2,000-year-old man, in your time on Earth? Saran wrap. Cover things with it, keep them fresh. You can look through it, pull on it, stretches. Saran wrap. 2-0 on Edwin Encarnacion. How did we get to talking about saran wrap, by the way?
Pop socket.
Pop socket.
Pop socket to
Duracell.
saran wrap. Yeah.
Derailed her.
WD-40.
Yeah, we worked that
Duct
in too.
tape.
It's a first. I don't remember a WD-40 reference in a baseball broadcast in a while. 3-1. One-out walk to Encarnacion. Now bring up Tulo. Tulo's got 2 hits in the series, a home run yesterday, an RBI single in the 3rd.
He's been busy out in the field today, too. 8 assists, 3 putouts.
Ryan Goins is going to run for an Encarnacion. Roberto Osuna, closer, and Ryan Tepera in the Toronto bullpen. There's Ryan Goins. Tulo 2 for 13 in his return to Denver. And you have to imagine that it could be, you know, barring postseason or a trade of Tulowitzki, the only time that he ever plays here.
It's true.
Again, you know, Troy's into his early 30s, and maybe 3 years from playing the American League East again, it may flip. The Rockies may go to Rogers Center that year, so then you're talking about maybe 6 years down the road.
The Rockies went up to Toronto 2013.
so the schedule holds true. We're talking about 2019, probably a return engagement in Toronto. Not guaranteed. Sometimes it works a little differently. Three and 0. So Estevez all of a sudden losing command. And a 4-pitch walk to Tulowitzki. Estevez tempo is different.
A lot slower today.
A lot slower. It's been discussed so many times when a closer comes in and it's not the same adrenaline rush because he's, in air quotes, getting work. He hasn't been on the field in a little bit. The club's down. And so many of those ninth inning guys live on the rush of getting those last 3 outs to shake hands. And right now it's not the case. I'm not making an excuse for him, but his tempo is different. Obviously, after getting the first guy out, he's thrown a bunch of pitches out of the strike zone, Huey.
Well, when we had Brian Fuentes on 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago doing the Twitter takeover, and that question was asked of him, he said, yes, indeed. I mean, if you don't come out there in a safe situation, it's just not the same rush that you're getting. You know, some guys need to be out there every 2 or 3 days, and maybe more of a veteran guy doesn't need to. But it is hard when you're used to that extra jolt. It's like that third cup of coffee when you're not used to it. What it does to you, and that's what's going through a body of a closer. I mean, he's ready to go.
Strike on Pilar.
I think part of the reason why, as I'm watching this, and because he's focusing so much on his off-speed pitches, that he's lost command of the fastball. He's lost the feel on the big league mound right now to feel for that fastball. All fastballs into too low, up and way off location.
Is that off the knee again?
Yeah.
That one might have been off the ankle. Last night it was on the back right knee. He's waving the trainer off. Just go. Just stay over there.
It doesn't matter. The trainer comes out. He'll ask you, does it hurt? Yes. Yeah. It's not going to go away. Just go away.
Well, they used to have that cold spray that they would come out and spray on there.
They still do that in Japan. I had it happen to me. It was hilarious. Yeah. Get hit in the arm no matter what. Anywhere on your body, they'll cold spray it.
Make it feel better?
No, it's just it tickles more than anything. I've seen players get hit by pitches. They take them down into the training room in the dugout. They run him off the field, and then you're like, is he gonna come back? Is he? And then here he comes.
He's a new person.
Yeah, fresh.
Right off the table, back to running again.
Yep.
Puts a magic potion on him. 2 strikes on Pilar, 1 for 4. And a good pitch. 2 outs. That'll bring up Junior Lake, doubled in a run in the second inning, the first run of the ball game. Also a walk, 1 for 3, and it won't be Lake, it's going to be Michael Saunders.
Saunders 2 for 5 last night with an RBI. Could have had 3 hits if it wasn't for the great catch by Charlie Blackmon in center field.
I heard a great story about Michael Saunders. One of his personal hitting instructors came and saw him in the minor leagues when he was struggling, and within 1 second saw the issue that Saunders had. His back left toe, his back foot wasn't tilted towards the pitcher. It had turned away, almost facing back towards the backstop. And so he was losing the strength in his legs to get the barrel through the zone.
He used to train in the off seasons here in Denver at Bardos.
And so that was it. It was one quick fix. A friend comes and sees it. He goes, hey, your back foot isn't turned. From that point on, he took off.
You could see it from that overhead shot we had a moment ago, how it's just turned ever so slightly in. It's going more in that direction towards home plate.
Got to hit it. The guy's got to come out with the spray can again.
Yeah, take him down to the dugout, let him run out like Willis Reed.
You've been sitting for 3 hours. They ask you to come in and pinch hit. Then you get hit by a pitch.
Josh Tolley with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Do you think sometimes the quote-unquote get the guy work is counterproductive?
At times it is, definitely.
He's going to end up throwing 20-some-odd pitches. Again, he's not going to throw tomorrow. It's an off day. I don't know how much of it, hopefully he gets out of it naturally, but I don't know how much of a good feeling he's going to have when he walks off the mound.
Today, it really was his spot. Justin Miller threw yesterday. Jason Mott threw yesterday. Qualls threw yesterday. Flande, you weren't going to use him today. Jordan Lyles already pitched them. Jermaine was already in the game. I think regardless of the score, Estevez was going to be used today to get some outs.
To me, it still goes back to tempo. Real slow tempo for it. He's not getting the ball and has that look like, hey, let's go, me against you.
Different adrenaline rush.
Yep.
1-2 on Tolley. And that's a wild pitch, and that'll cost the Rockies a run.
And that's just what you're saying. Now you 25 pitches in, you've allowed a run, you have 2 walks, a hit by batter, and you throw a wild pitch, a run scores, your ERA goes up, and now that feeling of, man, that was just a bad day.
Bad day. Overthrown slider by Estevez, trying to yank on it. Just kicks away. Not much Tony Walters could do.
Tony's had a couple blocks behind the plate. They've been tough.
Three and 2.
And if Estevez loses Tolley right here, probably going to end up seeing Chad Qualls.
Get him out here on a ground ball to Scalzo, but a run comes around. There were 2 walks, a hit batter, and a wild pitch. 5-1 Toronto. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Toronto in control. They're up 5-1. The Rockies coming to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Cargo, Mark Reynolds, Daniel Descalso. And John Gibbons has his closer out there again, Roberto Osuna. He got the final 4 outs in yesterday's game, or this morning's game.
He only threw 14 pitches to get those last 4 outs. A very efficient in his pitch count. 34 2/3, 42 strikeouts, and Michael Saunders remains in the game. He'll be in left field, and Ezekiel Carrera, who was in left, moves over to right field to take over for Junior Lake.
Also Justin Smoke's in the game at first base. Cargo with the bat off the shoulder, taking a strike down, 4 runs.
Zuna has a little bit of a hiccup in his windup, and Cargo totally mistimed that last pitch.
2 pitches in the same spot.
Huge series for Cargo, 7 for 11, 1 for 3 today.
Here we go.
Hopped out of the way, but it was called a strike.
And Osuna right there didn't have the little pause in his delivery, just went straight leg kick and throw. See if that plays with Cargo in his timing now.
Two pitches in a row, he didn't do it.
He didn't do it. If you give Cargo the pause right here, Cargo will end up being falling down on his front foot.
A walk. Good start to the inning. Bring up Mark Reynolds. Mark has a hit in 3 at bats.
First baseman, number 12, Mark Reynolds.
Mark faced Osuna last night, hit a ground ball to shortstop. So the delivery still fresh in his mind.
This ball lined to deep center field. Pilar is not going to get it. It's off the base of the wall. Cargo to third. He's going to get a green light from Stu Cole and a double. And he is safe at the plate. Head first slide. 5-2.
Don't quit just yet. These Rockies are coming out. You had the walk to Cargo, and then Reynolds doubling off the right center field wall. Cargo's running hard. He knows this is going over the head of Pilar. Pilar gets it back in, but the mistake he made was missing the first cutoff man. That allowed that ball to bounce. Troy hesitated for a moment. Stu Cole waving him the whole way, excuse me, and the left hand gets in before the tag. Goes out and around. Yeah, that's an easy call. Better look on the Subaru Supermo. And he is safe, no question about it.
Here's Descalso. He's 2 for 2 and a walk.
I think you guys noticed the bat was laying right in the right-hander's batter circle. Sometimes you'll see the hitter on deck sprint up and try to move the bat, or you'll see a catcher kick the bat out of the way, or an umpire move the bat out of the way.
They should have done that.
That spoke to right. Reynolds will score. It'll be extra bases for Descalso. It's a 2-run game. Tying run coming up. after a late night and an early morning, maybe an alarm just went off.
This is about the time batting practice starts on a normal day. Guys are getting loose and ready to go. Daniel continues his onslaught. 12 for 22 with runners in scoring position. Add another RBI, make it 16 on the season, 2 today. Ewise saying go to second. Mark Reynolds, come on home.
It's a nice day, 3 for 3 with a walk. 2 RBIs. You have DJ and Trevor Story sitting on the bench today. You need players like Daniel to step up. You need your bench guys like Brandon Barnes to have a nice day or have a quality at bat.
Barnes takes a strike. You got Nick Hundley at the bat rack. The Rockies do have Story. Whether or not he's allowed to swing it, we'll see. But he's acting like he's potentially going to get an opportunity, stretching the quads. No helmet on yet.
Maybe use him as a pinch runner for somebody. I mean, you just have to be prepared for any situation.
Yeah, when you see no wrist tape on his wrist, it shows me he hasn't been swinging today.
Barnes strikes out, first out.
Catcher, number 14,
One out, here's Tony Walters. Is going to be out of play despite Donaldson's efforts. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special, and the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Toronto has led throughout the ball game. Rockies got a run on a Descalso base hit in the 4th to make it 3-1. And now after his double, it's 5-3. It's as close as they've been. Walters is in a ditch 0-2.
One home run for Tony came on this homestand. Big fly. Way up 421 feet away.
Two runs in here in the 9th. 1 out. Descalso at second. 0-2.
Everybody clap your hands.
And another foul ball.
Keep spoiling Tony till you find your pitch.
For a hitter, even though you're fouling off pitches 0-2, the real swing where you feel like you're back in the count is when you start evening up the count. Getting 2 more balls maybe during this at bat.
This ball pulled to the corner and right, and it is extra bases for Walters. Descalso had to wait to make sure it wasn't caught out there by Carrera, so he could only move up 90 feet. But on the double, the tying run is now at second, and a guy who can run in Tony Walters.
for Daniel. He was waiting. Probably should have been a little bit further off second base, but down by 2 runs, you need to make sure that you don't make a base running mistake. Tony Walters hits the ball there to right field. Daniel goes back thinking that Ezekiel's going to catch it. With 1 out, you should be further off the bag, you know, the halfway, 3/4. If there's nobody out, that's a different story.
Yeah, I think Daniel after the game will recognize that was not good base running. If there's nobody out in a 1-run game, then you're trying to move your tag. But on that, he's running away. He could have been 70 of the 90 feet away and still gotten back if Carrera makes a circus catch.
And really being at third base with 2 outs makes no difference than if you're at second base with 2 outs.
And when you're
hoping
not
for
even
a wild
tying
pitch,
run.
yeah, you're not even tying run.
Rockies have 2 shots at it. Good swing there by Nick Hundley, the pinch hitter. Charlie Blackmon on deck.
Let's just have the second walk-off of the year.
I like your thinking. Nick had a double last night. Got robbed of extra bases on a fly ball to deep center. He's been swinging it well. 0-2.
Back-to-back sliders from Osuna to Nick. This one was better than the first one. First one was a hit me slider. That one was the disappearing slider.
Blocked by Tolley. That thing goes to the backstop. Everybody moves up. You're going to have to pull the infield in. That would have changed a lot of things. One-two. Well, it'll come down to the matchup of Osuna and Blackmon.
He wasn't going to give the fastball for sure. He just kept throwing slider, slider, slider. You see the red dot on the Subaru Supermo. Nick trying to reach, just foul it off. Wasn't able to do that. Now it's going to be up to his teammate Charlie Blackmon.
And for the Rockies, if Charlie's able to come through with the base hit that ties up this game, it's going to be Chad Qualls because Estevez comes out of the game with the pinch hitter.
Blackmon 1 for 4. Last night, 3 hits, 3 RBIs. He has had a sensational year. Rockies down 2 in scoring position. Ball 1. Against Osuna, who throws hard, the outfield swung around toward left field. Charlie does pull the ball quite a bit also. Here's the 1-0. And he'll get a piece of lumber for the 1-1 pitch.
Still kind of goes against conventional wisdom. You're playing in the opposite way, and then you come fastball in.
You see a lot of that.
Yeah, he kind of got lucky there by breaking the bat, but if he hits it down the right field corner, that's an easy triple. Ball game's tied up.
Charlie's quick on the inner half, too.
Probably too much inside. Charlie's thinking one thing, I'm either going to tie it up or I'm going to win it here.
Well, there's a number of candidates in that Rockies lineup that you like up there, and this is obviously one of them. You know he's going to give you a great at bat. 1-1, 2-1. If Osuna were to lose Blackmon, Christian Adames is on deck.
And There's nobody up in the pen for Toronto. I mean, this is Osuna's.
Here's the 2-1. Got him, bases loaded. Winning run to first.
Usually you don't see a relief pitcher pitch twice in less than 12 hours. That's what Osuna's being asked to do today. Twice in the same day. You see the fastball trying to throw it inside where he got Charlie to break his bat earlier.
Charlie just wore it too. He's not trying to jump back. He just turns. Says, okay, I'll go ahead and be the winning run on base.
So Adames 0 for 4 today, but he has generally been swinging it well. Last night, he had a hit. 2 days ago, single and a double. The bases loaded. Walters, the tying run at second, the winning run at first, and Blackman. Strike one on Adames.
If Adames can hit a hard, even a hard ground ball right up the middle, almost towards center field.
Look at this area right here.
It is wide open.
Wide open.
Charlie will be able to score from first.
Two-strike count on Adames, who will take a walk and collect his thoughts. Roberto Osuna has given up 2, and the bases are full of Rockies. 2 outs in the 9th, 5-3 Toronto. Held up, no, they called him out. Wow. The ball game. Walt Weiss is irate. So at least get some help.
Get some help. That's all you ever ask. That's what Walt's saying. You can't possibly see the direction of the baseball and the swing at the same time. It's a pet peeve of mine.
That's why you have partners. Why not get the help?
And maybe he did swing. We'll see on this replay.
You might have seen it, but that's the reason why he asked for help.
And think back earlier. I mean, that's about what Laz Diaz called a no swing, and that looked like he probably did go. But Laz Diaz earlier, there was a similar type swing, and he said no, he didn't go.
An exciting 9th, but it falls short. The rally produces 2. It needed 4, and Toronto wins it 5-3. They win the series 2-1, and the Rockies finish the 7-game homestand 3-4. They'll have an off day in LA. They'll begin that series at Dodger Stadium with a record of 37-41. Troy Tulowitzki comes back to Coors Field. He hits a home run. He drove in a run today, and his club will head back north of the border at 43-37. Again, the final score 5-3. Aaron Sanchez gets the victory, and despite pitching very well, Tyler Anderson takes the loss. He is now 0-2. We go to center field. Here's Jenny and Corey.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. No matter how close to 500 the Rockies get, they seem to always slide back. This is an important week coming up.
That it is, but what a difference that insurance run made in the top of the 9th inning on the wild pitch by Carlos Estevez. We'll show you how it all played out because it changed the dynamic of the game.